Peeky sneaky.
Peeky sneaky.
Peeky sneaky.
Peeky sneaky. I'm not sure what that means.
Peeky sneaky. Hi.
How's it going, everyone?
Hi.
Welcome to Hump Day, Thursday, Therapy Thursday.
It's not Hump Day. That's Wednesday.
I'm sorry. Friday's Eve. Excuse me.
Yeah. It's
one followed by another.
It's Therapy Thursday, Friday Eve. Hump Day's Wednesday.
Yep. They all kind of blend together.
They do all blend together. You're not wrong on the blending together thing. It seems like, what day is it? I don't know. I think the dog has a better understanding of time than I do right now.
The dog.
I really believe that the dog has a better understanding of time than I do.
Oh, that's funny.
How we doing, chat?
Woo, chat.
How's
it going? Good afternoon. Dragonfire.
How's it?
Bloodwrath. How's it going?
T-Schmidt, liquor of paint.
Vomit.
The liquor
of the rancid variety.
Of paint.
Hello.
I need something that is very hard to find these days, which is a 25mm base.
A 25mm base?
I need a 25mm base.
We got tons of 25mm bases.
I feel like these guys come on 25mm. Oh, that is a 25. Like, do you have one?
I think so. I mean,
why would we have 25mm bases? What would we have 25mm? Oh, there's one right
Leviathan?
there. There's one right there.
I think the gaunts from Leviathan are on 25s too.
What the hell? There's one right there.
Well, there you go.
A slate 25mm base. What the hell was that for?
That's a great question. What is
I haven't bought bases for anything that needed 25mm in like forever, I don't think. I want this one. What did I have?
What do you need it for?
The last thing I made an army with that had 25mm was freaking
Lord of the Rings?
No, the Nurgle dudes.
Which Nurgle dudes come on 25?
They're troops. They're small troops.
Poxwalkers?
Poxwalkers come on 25.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, Poxwalkers.
That does make sense.
I had 25mm bases, but I don't think I had slate 20. That's a 25, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's 25.
Where's a Space Marine? I can tell very quickly. Voist.
I got you right here.
Voist Marine Day Space. Oh, yeah, definitely. 25 and 32, right? Because Space Marines are 32.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I know how to check because back in the old days, everything was on 25. So that is what that is. Hello. All right.
Quite a refreshing beverage. Start stream with a mango smoothie.
Bubble smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
Silly boba stuff. Silly boba stuff.
I like it. It tastes good.
It's what is it? It's like
tapioca.
Tapioca. Right.
Tapioca balls.
What'd you call me?
Tapioca balls.
That's it.
Look, you went there, not me.
What did you call me?
What did you call me? I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything.
Outlandish accusations over there.
Oh, I don't know about outlandish.
Calling me a tapioca ball. Neurogaunts? Did the Neurogaunts come on 25s? That would make sense, huh? Sorry, Chad, I can't clue you in on what I'm working on. Your
the super secret sauce.
Can't be doing that. So I'm gonna go just Giordano.
Just the Giordano.
I got super secret stuff over here. I'm not allowed to show you.
Okay. We can just paint cool soul drinkers. That's fine. Not the end of the world.
Definitely not. They're looking great.
I'm very happy with how they're turning out. Putting some glazes of this dark plum back into their armor. Add a little bit more of that richness back in. Eyes done. I think I'm going to do their eyes in green. I think would look really nice.
Green, always a good choice for Space Marine glowy eyes.
Yeah.
I'm doing on all of my Blood Angels. Glowy green.
A little bit of the yellow transparent first.
The only time glowy green eyes don't work is when your Space Marines are green.
Yeah. And then you're like, this doesn't work.
Yeah. Green Marines, orange eyes. Works really good. Maybe even blue, depending on the green. But I would opt on orange first.
For Blue Marines?
Yeah.
I would concur with that statement.
I really like this.
The guy that nobody can see?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really like the thing I'm working on, chat. He's really cool.
Bad you can't see it.
Too bad. Can't see him. Don't worry, you'll see him. Paint a new mini? No. No, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna throw any paint down on these guys that I'm gonna give you a sneak look at. Just yet. Maybe. Guy really makes me want to paint him. Not gonna lie. Oh, he's neat. So is this guy.
I'm just saying, when the
Can you believe that guy's as big as a Dreadnought? He's almost as big as that Redemptor.
Is he really? Oh
I
my
didn't
god,
realize.
he is.
Holy shit balls.
Yeah. Holy crap.
I did not put him up next to that yesterday.
Finally slapping paint on the knights. Ooh. T. Schmidt. You gotta post some photos of your knights, man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm really in the mood to play some Titanicus right now. We have a painted army in the studio cases here, and it's making me really want to play. I have my own stuff at home, so I'd just bring that into play. But getting the urge to play the Titanicus, so I might have to try and convince somebody to do that soon.
Uh-oh. You've been talking about it.
Yeah, I'm really feeling it right now, to be honest with you.
Great game.
It is a great game. One of my faves.
Legs. Legs, what is this? Leg. Left leg. Paint liquor, yeah, I didn't realize that one of the minis I'm going to show you is actually huge.
It is pretty gigantic.
I did not really realize.
I realized it was large, but I didn't realize it was that large.
Yeah, well, they're intended to be, right? They're intended to be big. You know, when I was designing stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be large.
Large.
D. Schmidt says paint in Purple Army too. Final slapping paint on the knights.
Yeah.
You got big purple knights.
I wanted to see them.
Big purple knights. P. Schmidt.
P. Schmidt.
purple P. Schmidt. Architect. We don't have those conversations here. About the Undertaker. This is not a Siobhan today. I think he already jumped in chat and did that, though. The day when the Undertaker threw mankind off the top of Hell in a Cell.
Oh my gosh.
So it is written.
Man, Emperor's gonna wake up and go pissed.
Purple and jade and cream. Sounds neat.
Get. Figure out how I'm gonna do all my Alex. Man, you want to know one of my pet peeves with TV shows these days?
What's that?
When they release seasons in 2 parts.
Seasons in 2 parts.
Yeah. The new Witcher season came out today.
Oh, okay.
And I was like kind of curious to see, how many episodes are in it or whatever.
4.
They released 5 today, and the remaining 3 don't come out until July 27th.
Yeah, they've been doing that.
What the heck? They did it with what the heck is the name of that show? Stranger Things.
Yep.
I was like, what the heck?
Welcome to Netflix. They don't want you binging it all at once. They got to make you tune in again later on.
Yeah, they want you to subscribe for another season or another month.
So don't tell Jen, but I ordered Apple yesterday.
Hey!
Don't tell her.
I'm not telling Jen.
Chat.
I'm officially not telling Jen.
Chat, I need you to keep secrets here. If you see Jen, do not tell her that I ordered Apple Plus last night.
Just a word of caution, do not look at chat.
What's that?
Don't look at chat.
I shouldn't look at chat?
Yeah.
Why? Shit, is she here?
Yeah.
Shit, hi!
No.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, babe. How are you? Good to see ya. She actually already knows.
You already told me.
Yeah. I told her in this exact same way. I told Carter last night. I said, I'm a rebel. I did Apple without even asking Jen. And she was sitting right next to me in the meeting. She just kind of looked at me like, excuse me?
You did.
Excuse me? But then she said, oh, I guess we can watch that show then, the soccer one.
Oh, it's so
Ted Lasso.
good. It's so good.
I had 3 free months because I bought something recently. I don't
Oh,
know what I
cool.
bought.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, we bought a new TV for the house
Good deal.
when we moved.
Get 3 free months. That's
3
sweet.
free months?
I'll take it.
That's almost like paying nothing.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know what free means.
Yeah.
Or so I'm told.
You still bought a TV, so there's that.
Oh.
But,
well, damn.
Damn.
I was all happy for a second. Apple TV cost me $700.
So, I have an interesting question.
What's that?
So, for these guys, because they're soul drinkers,
Yeah.
they're also Stern Guard veterans.
Yeah.
Should I make their helmets white?
I mean, kind of late for that.
I mean, it's an easy thing to fix. Speaking. But I was just thinking about it.
I guess it depends on how you want to do your whole force. Not all vets did white. I run mine and my Blood Angels is white because it's a nice offset. I think that it works really, really well with the purple. So
with the purple,
I would say yes.
Yeah. Might be a cool opportunity to try out how you did the.
With the grays.
Yeah. I don't even know exactly what you did. You've mentioned it before.
Mainly warm grays.
Just warm grays.
I do dark warm gray, and then neutral gray.
Oh, and then neutral
into
gray.
Bright neutral gray.
Interesting.
At the end, so that you have that clash of
warm and cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactamundo. My name is Ralph.
I'd probably go the other way on this model.
And not call yourself Ralph?
No.
Oh.
Only because I have cool shadows and warm highlights already. So flipping it might look kind of weird. Although it's grays, so it's pretty, wouldn't make a big difference.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. Not like you're mixing yellow in.
Yeah, true. And you used the white transparent to build
White
the
transparent
white on top,
to build the white up on top, yep. And then I used titanium white off the brush at the end to really dial in the highlights where you want them. So it keeps it a nice dirty-ish white until you're ready to pop it out.
I might do that.
Kind of my easy way of doing whites.
The other question is for bolter casings. I know some factions have like off-color bolter casings, like red. Is that a really common thing? I'm not super familiar with Space Marine like color stuff, so this is why I'm asking these questions. Remember, it's been 10-something years since I've been Space Marine.
Bolter case, like the bolt gun housing?
Yeah, like this part.
I love red when you can make it work because it's so nostalgic for me.
Right.
Black works just as well though.
Okay.
Just do blacks and they look great. That's a complete up to you thing.
Yeah.
Do any color you want. Green. I've seen people do. Like kind of horrible black rifle. Kind of grayish black, like that coal black. AR-15 style coloring, I think works really well. And then do shiny for the barrels and stuff, so you can do black on black monochrome. Looks kind of neat. I think it just depends on where you're going with your color. For me, if I were doing that army in purple, I would think about what color you're doing your tabards.
I'm thinking about doing cream.
Okay. Because then for my tabards, I would either do like a red or like a cream, right? And so if you do cream, then maybe, you do red bolt casings. Or
I think
bolt gun.
Might look really nice.
Shroud, as it were. The world is your oyster, Jordan, even though you don't like oysters.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't really had a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
So
the world is your oyster, even though you don't know what oysters taste like, Jordan. And you may not want the oyster once you've had it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a grab bag, so to speak. It's a smorgasbord. Of opportunity.
Of the opportunity. Man, I think this is the most fun I've had painting models in a little while.
You were saying that yesterday. Look at that.
It's amazing how...
Monument Hobbies. Inspiring even old dog painters.
Yeah. It's crazy sometimes where, like, the weirdest little bit of inspiration and excitement will come out of. Because I would not have told you ahead of time that painting stern guards would have got me really excited.
Yeah, you wouldn't have guessed it, right? It's like,
yeah,
I mean, Space Marines are cool, but I wouldn't have thought it was this cool.
I mean, it just goes to show that, it's part of the reason why they're so popular, right?
Especially the newer sculpts, right? The Primaris, they've done a great job with getting them to have a really good presence without having to, I mean, I say that without throwing so many doohickeys on them. Some of them have a lot of doohickeys, like the Phobos armored guys with like 50 million pouches and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, okay, you could not do that anymore. But
I feel like these guys have the right amount of doohickeys, right? Yeah. You got a couple of purity seals. You got a gun holster, which makes sense because he's got a pistol.
Yep.
You got a little grenade pouch in the back, and then you've got a gun, and maybe this little thing that's like strapped to the back of his backpack.
Yep.
But like, that's cool.
What is that anyway?
I don't know. It looks like a little like canteen or something that like buckles into the back of his backpack.
Was that really necessary?
Probably not, to be honest with you.
Was that really? Nobody knows what that is. GW, quit it.
Or it could be attached to his belt. I can't really tell. It's probably attached to his belt, to be honest. It's his lube can. Source. Source.
Hey, I mean, when you're out on the battlefield and you start creaking like the Tin Man, get caught out in the rain, everybody needs an oil can. You've watched The Wizard of Oz. You know this drill.
Paint Liquor. Sadly, you're torn on The Witcher. You want to watch the series because it's The Witcher, but you loathe the writers for the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will watch this season just because Cavill's still in it, but my hopes are not super high. I also just really, like you said, I really enjoy the Witcher story, so. But I'm excited to go back and read some more of the books at some point. Because I've read the first one and I'd like to go back and read the rest of them.
I have not. I never got into the storyline. Never played the video games. So watching the series, it was interesting for me. Because the first one jumps back around in time a lot. And,
it was very confusing at first.
But I enjoyed it. I don't know that I'll watch this season or not. It doesn't really appeal to me after the last one, but maybe. I did, however, watch the first episode of Silo last night.
Oh! Tell me about it.
Very enjoyable.
Okay, good.
Very, very parallel to the book.
Okay,
the things that they changed that I can remember. Now, I have to say this with the understanding that I have not read the series in
a long time,
quite some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like what I was watching was exactly what I remember the experience being like, except the only thing that I walked away thinking negatively on is that the soundtrack is horrible. It was very Willy Wonka in the beginning as she's like walking around. I felt like it was a little manic and didn't make a whole lot of sense to me why the music was like it was.
Okay.
So I had a problem with that. It didn't feel somber enough to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like life in the silo was everybody having fun and enjoying their lives. Like life in the silo is very totalitarian. And everybody is very gray and very similar, and they tried to make things feel a little not 1984. People had some colorful clothing on. Yeah. Kids were running around laughing and stuff because it was the holiday for Freedom Day and all that stuff, which is not that big of a deal. It's a very somber event, and the way it was told in the books.
Oh, interesting.
So a little bit of stuff like that made me a little put off on the feel of it, but I can forgive that. You know, it made it probably more watchable. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I was glad to see that they did everything that they were supposed to do with the sheriff and his wife. And the plot thickens.
Yeah.
Perfectly. They did mention wool. You missed it.
Oh, they did mention wool. Okay.
She says when she's going out, she's like, if I get out there and it's like we see it.
Yep, I remember that.
She goes, I will not clean.
That I did see.
She says, however, if I get out there and it is not like this, I will take my wool out. And I will clean.
Got it. Okay. So I think it's probably just because
you weren't listening for it because you had no idea.
Exactly. I was more focused on what she was talking about.
Yeah, which I can understand. Like, it was just a word, and it wouldn't have been an important word had you not known.
Yes, exactly.
But now you can know.
Yeah, okay,
now you will know.
So there is some significance to the wool.
Yeah, that was the first book's name. Wool.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm stoked for it. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Good.
I like the characters. I like the character they have coming in as the new sheriff, the engineer.
Yep.
When they introduce her at the end.
Yep.
I think that's great.
That was an
the cast has been pretty good so far. I think episode 1 ends with him sitting in the jail.
Yeah, well, the first episode starts with that.
Yeah, and then it goes back in time.
Yeah. It's an interesting way to start the series, I think.
Yeah, that's how the book goes.
Yeah.
So very, very good.
Cool. And you said you only watched the first episode?
Only the first.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't get Apple TV. I didn't even think to do it until it was like, I don't know, 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
so I watched and went to bed at like nearly midnight, which I never do.
Ooh.
So it was a little late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Right on.
I thought it was very, very good. I need a 40 mil base. I know I have a lot of 40 mils. Aha!
We should have tons of 40 mils around here.
A bunch of them that have like, the hell was on that? I don't even know what. I think this is a 40 mil because these are 32s. Yes, that's about 8 mil. I'm gonna go with that's 8 mil. Might not be, but close enough for government work.
That's not what we're doing here.
We're not doing government work here?
No, sir.
What?
Nope.
I quit.
Whoa.
I thought I was working for the glory and majesty of the government.
No. We need you. We need you here, Jason.
You can't. It's like, Jacob, this is my career. You can't leave.
Good luck. Goodbye.
He said that one day. So funny. Tim, what's going on, man?
Hello, Tim.
Tim Robbins in a leading role again? Yeah. I played hockey with Tim Robbins in New York. And he is a big nerd.
Who's Tim Robbins?
Shawshank Redemption?
Haven't seen it.
Fired?
Oh.
Fired. So another movie for your list, Shawshank.
Yep.
Have you seen The Green Mile?
Yes.
Okay.
Which person is he in The Green Mile?
He's not in The Green Mile.
Oh.
But
it's been a long time since I've watched The Green Mile, and it probably is worth another rewatch.
Yeah, definitely.
But especially now that I'm older and can appreciate the movie a lot more. But yes, I have seen it once upon a time.
Yeah, so Shawshank, Tim Robbins is the main character there.
Oh, okay.
You should watch it. One of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, I have heard that. Regardless
of what kind of movies you like, Shawshank is one that will
Yep.
stir you up. So good. He was so young, too. Yeah, when I was living in New York, the rink that I played ice hockey at was in Manhattan proper over in Chelsea Piers. It was called Sky Rink. And he played there. He played pickup hockey there. Our league, our men's AA league played there, and I would go for pickup before league practice. And so Tim Robbins would be there playing. There are a couple of movie stars that I didn't know that were in that would show up and play every now and then. But yeah, he played in our hockey league.
That's cool.
Everyone must see. It is a modern classic. It is absolutely one of the best movies ever made.
Shawshank?
Yeah, it's just tremendous. Tremendous.
I think it would be hard to find somebody to disagree with you. And I know this even having
I don't know that
it.
I've ever really run into anybody that did not appreciate Shawshank.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's somebody that said, not my favorite movie, but if you really got deep into it, you'd probably be okay with, the way it really was, or that it was a good movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. I'll do some painting. Chat. Wir haben Dreadnought.
Wir haben Dreadnought? Light neutral gray.
I forgot yesterday that I was going to do the sarcophagus cockpit frame in gold. So we got to go back and do that before we do the final highlights on all the rest of the gold.
Which set did we do light neutral gray in?
Expansion set 1. Bright neutral gray. Dark neutral gray and bright neutral gray came out same set. Neutral gray came out expansion set 4.
Yeah. That is correct.
I guess right here would be a good time to bust this puppy off of here, right?
What, the base?
No, this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read Red Rising? Red
Sounds
Rising, what is it?
Sounds familiar.
Sounds like a video game. Looking for books recommend to listen while painting. Saga of the Seven Sons, because it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on forever. And you learn about the Clickus and the Hydros and the Pharaohs. And it's an amazing sci-fi experience. Kevin J. Anderson, Saga of the Seven Sons. 7 books long. All of which are like, I don't know, 24-hour listens. Whatever 7 times 24 is a good gauge of how long it will take you to listen to it.
A lot of commitment.
It's a lot of booking. Do not read the sequels. The sequels feel like somebody needed a paycheck and wrote the same books again,
Uh-oh.
but only did it in a trilogy.
That's not good. Not good.
Yeah, I hate to say that about Kevin J. Anderson because the Saga of the Seven Sons is one of my favorite big space opera style novels because it is more space opera. It's fantastic. But when he came out with the sequel trilogy years and years later, it was not so bueno. Not so enticing. I mean, it was very enticing. I wanted to read it, but it was not as very good. It was literally the same thing all over again. Like, hey, remember the baddies we thought we got rid of last time?
They're back.
They're back.
Turns out we screwed up. They're still around.
That's not necessarily true. If you've read the books, you know that that's not the whole story. But it was almost that. There was a lot more to the second books, but Servants of War. I don't know that either song. At least not by name do I recognize what the story is. There are a tremendous amount of 40K books that are superb. So don't be fooled. Start the Horus Heresy. You'll paint every army you own before you finish.
That's true.
Oh, Larry Correa. Red Rising is a hell of a book series. Until the third book, it's like if you floored your car but it never left off the torque, you just keep accelerating. The last Larry Correa book I read was the one where they have the golems that people pilot. People that are attuned to the kind of runic magic get to pilot golems into war. I don't remember what it's called. Is that Servants of War? It may be. I don't remember the name right off the bat. I recommended it to everybody on stream when I finished reading it. It was good. Written by him and another author, co-authored, such as it is. Presuming you don't buy more armies because you get excited about how the Horus Heresy goes. That's the thing the Horus Heresy will do to you, is it'll have you buying lots of different armies. You'll read about something that'll catch your eye or your ear or get you going, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I could do Night Lords.
Yeah. And then 2 minutes later, you're like, ooh, but Imperial fit.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of the way the whole area. But don't read the anthology books, because that's the ones that'll really screw you up.
As far as buying stuff.
Yeah, because it's like talks about everybody. We can cheat. We don't have to paint all of this. Just enough.
Enough?
Bakamaru says, hell yeah, Night Lords, they're horrible. Stop. Craziest lunatic of a Primarch ever.
No, dude.
They convinced a planet to go into compliance by taking over the world's flagship that was hanging out in orbit. They teleported on board, took over the ship in like 5 minutes from the humans, right? Barely had to break a sweat fighting, right? Night Haunter, like, goes around tearing people's faces off. Prisoners, they don't take prisoners. They pile all the dead bodies in the, and all of the people that they captured in the hangar in the belly of the ship. Open up the doors from low orbit. They fly the ship into low orbit, which is known on the planet as a victory run, which gets everybody in the streets below celebratory. They all go into their local, in the biggest city on the planet, the capital city.
Yeah.
That's what they did, is they would fly the capital ship into low orbit as a sign of victory.
Yeah.
So they knew this. The Night Lords studied this, flew the ship into low orbit. All of the people in the major cities got out and started celebrating through the night, reveling. They let them revel, do their fireworks, get drunk, and then started dropping all the bodies of the people on board the ship onto the city. They bombed the city with the bodies of the crew. Thousands of people that were on this capital ship, and they just started dropping the bodies. So the people are down there celebrating, drunk, and all of a sudden, bloop, people die because another body hits, and it's just this big pool of blood and body parts. And people take a minute to wonder what's going on. Is this part of the celebration? And all of a sudden, screams. So it's a perfect story, right? But I will never do Night Lords. Never do Night Lords. Angron's not worse. What, are you kidding me? Angron's just bloodthirsty. You can trust Angron to do the same thing every time. It's a known quantity. The Night Haunter is insane. You can't trust that guy as far as you can kick him. And that, my friends, is when people become scary. So the Night Haunter is by far the scariest of all the Primarchs as far as that story, or as far as any story goes, because he's just not trustworthy. He is the definition of insane. His prescience, his ability to see just enough of what could be in the future timelines, drove him mad.
This is Conrad?
Conrad Kurz.
Yeah. The crazy man.
Yeah, he is nuts. Absolutely nuts. And his followers? Also
nuts.
Absolute bat poop crazy. They didn't want to follow him for a minute, and then they just broke. They just broke. They were like, okay, fine. We'll eat people too. Y'all were into the Necrons with flesh cloaks yesterday. I don't know what you're talking about. I am not a Necron fan. Talk to Baby J, the heretic. That guy. He would also play Night Lords.
Probably would, actually.
He would. He said his other army choice was Chaos Space Marines.
Well,
Night Lords incoming.
Night Lords would probably not be my first choice.
He said Black Legion, technically.
Yeah.
That's hilarious what you're talking about. It was a party song. It's raining men. Ooh, it's raining men. Literally.
Literally.
Literally, like, watch out. Bodies.
Body's coming down.
Angron's broken. Every other Primarch is awe-inspiring just to look at. World Eaters just feel sad. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Because of the nails. They got the nails implanted because they felt sad for him. Idiots.
Wait, really?
Yeah, his whole Legion had the nails implanted because their Primarch had them and they couldn't be removed. Or he chose not to. I don't remember if the Emperor asked him if he could, or if the Emperor decided not to do it and make that offer. I don't remember. Either way, yeah, none of them had the nails. Because they left everybody on his planet behind, which is one of the reasons why he hated the Emperor. Because the Emperor took him and left everybody on his planet. He felt like he had abandoned his brothers, who were all the other slaves that were committed to the arena to fight.
Yeah.
So they had put the nails in their pit fighters. Let the bodies hit the floor. Ugh, another good one. Blah.
Blah.
The most interesting Chaos Marines, other than maybe Rubric Marines, to paint: deep blues, reds, gold, lightning motif on the plates. Yeah, I get it. It does have some interest. I don't like the blue and the red. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of Crimson Fists for that reason. Blue and red they're not colors I enjoy together as we look at red armor with blue steel. But not like that blue, that intense blue with like red bits on it. It's just kind of weird to me. I don't know why. I think it may be too national flag looking or something, maybe.
Could be.
I don't know. Angron damned his whole chapter to suffer like him.
Well, you guys just said that they made the decision, not he, to leave the nails in, right?
Songer, that's Servants of War. Yeah, it's a great book. It's a great book. I would like to see if he does sequels to it. I know he wrote it with another person, but if Servants of War is the one with the golem suits, it's fantastic. I enjoyed it from start to finish. It has some weird, inconsistent moments in it, but it's a good book. I like the magic. I like the idea that it speaking of Angron, it had that very Korn-esque feel to it, right? You commit enough death and these portals open up to another dimension. Very interesting stuff, right? Getting trapped in that other dimension, all the weird crap that happens. It's neat. It has some neat stuff going on with it. The main dude, the main like leader dude being like what's his name? What's the Russian mystic
from
history? He was in like Hellboy. Hellboy had to fight him.
Oh, you're talking about what's his name?
I'm not gonna remember. Rasputin. Yeah, Rasputin. Basically, the head guy for the Empire is basically like Rasputin. It's pretty crazy. I think that Chaos Marines, I've always been one to argue that when painting Chaos Marines, that the one reason I don't find any of them interesting is because I find it very strange that the way GW has portrayed them in model form is that they all are very uniform. It's like the one thing Chaos would not do is all get together and say, hey, let's make sure we paint our uniforms the same and wear the same color trim and make sure all of our flair is the same and all that. And that's what the models are. They've gotten better with the Death Guard stuff because there's a lot of variation. I think the Death Guard Marines are actually the best models because I just don't ever... I like in the books the way they talk about Chaos Marines being these war bands that are not... Like even the Black Legion, yes, most of them had daubed their armor black, but it still had colors of their original legions showing through. So you'd have a Night Lords guy, you'd have a Death Guard, you'd have all these people. So in terms of modeling, it made it very interesting for me, where you would have it be like pirates. They wouldn't look the same. They'd all have their own flair, their own thing, their own way they had adopted chaos, because no two people are supposed to be consumed by chaos in the same way. And yet here, when they give us the models, all the models are the same. Right? You can change the type of tusk, but that's it. So I feel like that was always a problem with the way they've shown the legions, the Chaos legions in their color schemes. Is that, well, that wouldn't be the case, would it? I mean, like, really? Songer, yeah, he is. He's intended to be Rasputin. Larry Correia wrote someplace that was the major thing, is that he was like the Rasputin, right? He came in, he started to whisper in the ear of the emperor and become the guy that was the real leader and was taking him on a path to hell, using the power of the nation to do all his mysticism and craziness. Yeah, I really like that book. The more we talk about it, the golems and the fact that they've only deciphered a few runes, and those few runes they've deciphered lead to these big dreadnought warsuit golems that people can ride in and cause mass destruction, like level whole cities, is amazing. Because it leaves you the thought of, what if they decipher more runes? Like, what happens? There's a little golem in the story. Mm-hmm. A little thing of twine and rock sewn together with a rune spoken to it that brings it to life, and it nearly murders an entire area of people and buildings and everything.
What the heck?
Like it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. You can think about, because the way they talk about it is that the golems in their pure form were covered with these runes of power and were beings of almost immeasurable and unstoppable force.
Okay.
And they found, like, they go to these archaeological digs and they find pieces that have intact runes, and they decipher the rune and learn how to speak the rune, and the rune of power then, holds power in that piece of stone, and they can take that piece of stone and build these like basically dreadnought suits.
Yeah.
That generate their own force fields and have huge cannons. It feels very okay. I will say this feels like Larry Correia being pissed off that he wasn't writing War Machine, or taking what he had done when he wrote War Machine.
Yeah.
Because those were some of, I don't know of his first books, but his early books were War Machine for Privateer Press. And I think he really, really dug the idea of the Warjacks.
Yeah.
Because that's literally what these are, except they're piloted. So imagine piloted warjacks that have steam, and every time they do anything, they generate heat. So they constantly have to pull the pilot out, put another pilot in its place. Like in the middle of the battlefield, the support crew for the golem suit is all dumping water on it the whole time to keep it cool and trying to stay within its force field.
Oh,
as it walks around, it only has a limited force field, so its crew runs along, and projectiles can't enter into the force field until they beat it up so much that it gets weak. But as heat generates more and more and more, the pilot can fry, like cook inside the thing.
Yeah.
So they're constantly having to bang on the door, open up the back hatch, pull the pilot out, sweating, and put another pilot in there.
Jeez.
And in the meantime, the thing is down. So it creates a whole tactical weirdness where they have to do these overlapping fields of fire as one overheats and another one comes in fresh and has the shield cover the others while they switch out the pilot, and so on and so forth. So it makes a really neat battlefield story. Crazy. And the battlefield stories are amazing. Absolutely amazing, because it's literally like War Machine. It's just regular dudes with bayonets fighting with nothing else, just bullets and bayonets and golems. Magical golems. It's crazy. It is very, very, very War Machine-esque.
That's cool.
Yeah, except you don't really have these big characters throwing magic all over the place. Like, Warcasters, you don't really have that. So it's really just foot troops and golems.
Yeah.
But it's really good. Servants of War. Sounds like Magic Battletech. They're much smaller. They're like 3 meters tall or 4 meters tall or something like that. They're not huge. But yeah. It's really, really cool. Just the vision it gives you in your head is really, really cool. Of this kind of weird steampunky world that does have this weird blood magic. Anytime there's a battle with enough people die, portals start opening up, and out of the portals crawl these flesh-ravening creatures that don't have eyes, but just eat you and drag you down into the mud and the blood.
Creepy.
Yeah, and then just disappear into the portals again. They just come out of nowhere. So it keeps everybody on ease. It's like, well, you can't really fight too much, because if you do, this crap happens. One of the sides comes up with basically sarin gas. Comes up with this gas that rips the flesh from your bones. And they've got dudes in gas masks and suits and globadiers throwing globes and coming in big washes of clouds of poison. So it's very, very World War I mustard gas, bayonets, trenches, mud, death, golems. Instead of tanks and stuff, you have golems, magic rune golems. It's pretty fun. when is Monument Book Club happening? We do it all the time here, like now.
Yeah.
So, Slayer Street, it is brutal as hell, man. It sets up a vision in your head that you just want to take part in. It would be a great game, right? It would be the great premise for a game, except that you would have to add a lot more to it to keep it interesting. In a book form, it makes a really interesting world, you know? It doesn't have enough craziness otherwise, though. But like I said, they'd come into this one prison. Oh, it's a prison. They come to a prison looking for a particular guy. And in the prison, when they find said guy, he knows magic, and so he speaks the runes of power into a stick doll that he's built, and that doll becomes a golem, like a wood golem, and literally murders everybody. Like, this golem is nearly indestructible. Like, it takes tons of power to kill the golem. So again, the whole time I'm just thinking, like, good God, if they get control of lots more runes.
Yeah, what's gonna happen?
Like, this is insane. It's on Audible, yeah. It's a good book. Servants of War. They leave it open for a sequel. I don't know that we'll ever see one because it's Larry Correia. He is miniature version of Game of Thrones guy.
Paint's very slow.
Huh?
I said paint's very slow. It was like write's very slow. What I meant to say.
Yeah, it's like you're not going to get... Some books are still hanging out there for sequels that have been waiting on them for years. Because I'm reading another series by him, which is the Son of the Black Sword series. Fantastic fantasy series. I think that's him. I'm reading a series by Joe Abercrombie and another one by Correia, and I can't remember which is which, but... Neither one of them come out with the sequels fast enough. They're very good books. But Larry Correia's big IP that he's selling to Hollywood and stuff is Monster Hunter Inc. They just did a big Kickstarter for the game. So a bunch of people have been... He's very... hard-nosed is the way to put it, I think. He didn't have too many F's to give. So people telling him he needs to write books, he doesn't care. Like, I'll do it when I want to. He's not the kind of guy you're going to bully into submission to get another book out of him. But good stuff, good writing.
Alright, we got the white helmet done. Green, yellow on there. Cake.
And at Burlick, like we said, that's how I found it, was on Audible.
I have like 6 or 7 credits.
You have a lot, because I'm stuck in on a bunch of books, so I haven't been spending on other books right now.
Yeah, same.
The Dune series is where I'm really focused. I'm on Sisterhood right now. Sisterhood of Dune. Now I'm on Mentats.
Yeah,
I read Sisterhood, now I'm on Mentats, and then Navigators comes next. Doing the school books, as it were. And they're phenomenal. We're at the point where the Bene Gesserit is going to have to figure out what it wants to be when it grows up, because they got obliterated by the Emperor and split in half, and none of them like each other. Reverend Mother Raquella having to figure out who she's going to pass the mantle to. And we think it's going to be the Harkonnen. Just have to find out.
Next time.
Monument Book Club. Monster Hunter Inc. would be cool. That's what, like a movie? I have not read it. Very pulp, detective style stuff. I have not read it. I have it in my library. It has not come up as a thing I've clicked on to be my next book. So when I read Son of the Black Sword, and actually when I read whatever his last War Machine novel was, I started buying other stuff. So I got Son of the Black Sword. You know, when I realized it was him, I got Son of the Black Sword, and then I got Monster Hunter Inc. And Monster Hunter Inc. just always fell to the background because of the pulp nature of it. It takes a minute for me to get excited about those kind of books. Gumshoe detective stuff. Mythological monsters. I go through those phases where those are top list. There's some really funny ones. But a lot of people start those books as, now Monster Hunter, you can't say that because the series is pretty good. He stays on it. There's different books. But a lot of those start off as like duos, you know, some characters that are really great, defined really well, book is really cool, you know, it sets up the rest of what's going to happen in the stories, and then the second book never comes out. So I get a little heaved. Because I think everybody starts writing those kind of nouveau noir, gumshoe detective books thinking they'll have a big IP. It doesn't always end up that way. A lot of the modern Cthulhu mythos stuff starts that way, right? Pulp detective books. Talking about Yog Shoggoth and trying to be funny. The greater Cthulhu mythos is something I wish people would get better at writing. I really like it, but it's almost impossible to read Lovecraft and feel good about it. Because his writing's such a mess.
Look Lovecraft to me.
I think we can see any of this stuff down here, so I'm painting it. But here we are.
Because you want to?
Well, because I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Humble to me.
Slayer Street, take it easy.
See ya.
Hunt and kill and save the galaxy. Yeah. No, I know. It's very pulp. I throw the gumshoe detective thing in there because that's what the normal story that's written in that vein is kind of like, right? The hunt is more of the kitschy Sherlock Holmes type stuff. I know that Monster Hunter Inc. I don't think is like that, but it's still very pulp fiction. Gotta be in the right mindset for that. It's like the difference between hard sci-fi and reading a space opera, you know? You gotta be in the mindset for switching gears into stuff that doesn't presume to hold on to reality very much. All right, then we got to pop that back in. We can see where our shadows go. Was that a Mad Ball reference? Not intentionally, but it could be. Is he in a war zone in Monster Hunter?
Warzone? What?
The Annihilation series was about. Was it? Always interested to hear about new stuff, especially series. I'm more down to give things a shot if there's multiple books. So if in case I like it, you know, it's not just a one and done.
To be had.
Yeah, I like world building, right? I want there to be worlds I can get invested in, not just a book that's good. I'm greedy like that.
You're greedy like that.
Really am. You know, I want the entertainment that I enjoy to be something that you can continue to enjoy. You know, it's like I said, like if they came out with a new Dark Souls game every month or every quarter, right? My video game life would be fulfilled. Now I know that's stupid because they'd all suck if they made one every quarter, but you get my drift. I know what I like, and I want more of it. I don't want to have to fight through all the mediocre BS before I get another thing I like. But I'm not talented enough in the ways of programming to go make it myself, so I just don't play video games very often. So video games just don't happen for me. Drizzt is 40 books, yeah. Heard a lot about it. Fantasy's tougher for me. Just flat out telling the truth. You know, I have a couple right now. Like I said, the Joe Abercrombie series. Well, I guess it's not Abercrombie series stuff anymore because his stuff's over. But like Larry Caraya's Son of the Black Sword, great. But not something I go hunting for. Because I've mentioned it a bunch of times on stream, is that fantasy is really tough for me to buy into because it has such mediocre authoring behind so much of it. I feel like it's, you know, like somewhere out there, unbeknownst to the rest of us, is a RPG maker type piece of software that writes fantasy books for people. It has 6 magic systems you can choose from, 12 character archetypes, that kind of thing. I get lost in that when I'm reading a book, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly like so and so or thus and such, and I know I miss that because I don't pay much attention to it because I have that attitude. I miss out on a bunch, so I get that. But I am usually pretty good. I've tried a bunch of the stuff you guys have told me. I just read Malazan because of you guys. Even before Baby J came, chat was trying to get me to read Malazan, Books of the Fallen.
Fortunately, it was not a hit.
No.
It was almost there. It almost got there.
Yeah, I was captivated for a little bit of it, wanting more. So, yeah. Me and fantasy have always. I grew up a sci-fi kid, and I don't know that that's a good excuse. My dad had, you know, Dragon Riders of Pern and all sorts of stuff. It was kind of a hybrid, you know. But there was a lot of fantasy in our library. It just, I don't think it really spoke to me the same way. So it might have been the books. There's
The funny thing is, I'm the opposite. I got started with fantasy, so that's kind of what my general preference is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's very, your environment is, you know, has a huge part in defining the things you like, where you gravitate, what you feel comfortable with. No problem with that at all.
Also, how you like to read novels.
Start to finish, usually.
Well, I mean, like we were talking about before, right? Where I am less, like, the story itself is less of important to me than the characters that exist in the world. Like how we were talking about how I, don't listen to lyrics when I listen to music, that sort of thing, right?
I am there and focused. My time is valuable. If I'm giving my time to you as an author, you need to make good use of my time.
Yeah.
And so I need it to resound. I need the story to create echoes for me so that when I go to bed at night, I'm thinking about it. Good guys and or bad guys. Hate the bad guys, love the good guys. Go, Sue, what's going on? You've always had sci-fi and fantasy in your life, but you gravitate towards fantasy. Yeah, I know a lot of people that do. And I think with the advent of D&D getting so huge again, I know a lot of my friends that maybe didn't read a lot from, college to adulthood, gravitating back in and finding fantasy again as a big thing for them. I think it's great. Whatever you do, fiction can be a tremendous way to accentuate your daily life. I heard a really, really good kind of a hot take on fantasy fiction and getaway, escapism. That it is it can be a way to serve as a very healthy recognition of the type of conflicts that you need in your life. If you're off chasing the bad guy in fantasy and enjoying it, it is indicative that that's the type of thing you like to pursue, right? And would love to pursue in your own life. Not saying we'd go out and slay dragons or kill Darth Vader, but that it's the type of thing that we like to do. We like to set up with challenges and overcome those challenges and things like that. And that it was stated in this psychology review that for those people who can't find those challenges in their life, they tend to go further and further into the escapism because it's unbalanced at that point. There's an escapism that shows you're drawn to those types of challenges, but if you can't find the challenge in your real life, you'll tilt more into escapism and then life gets away. So it's always a balance of trying to make sure that you don't overcreate challenges in your real life that make it such a depressing, horrible thing that you can't escape from it and unbalances it. So it was a really neat thing saying that balancing your life in those creative getaways is very, very important because it's a mirror to who you enjoy being. If you read, I don't know, they weren't talking about it like this, but in my mind I was focusing in on it like if you were to read, say, romantic novels or something, it's that you are a hopeless romantic and you like having that nature in your life where you're always talking about feelings and helping people with their feelings and being romantically inclined. But if you forget to do that in your real life, which is what you going into books about it is showing you, is that you need it, and the more you dive into the books, the less you have over here. So you need to balance it out. And if people could pay attention to that, how cool it would be. I mean, I still wish we could go hunt dragons, but I'm just saying.
I wish we could go hunt dragons. But...
I mean, like, I've been reading a lot of dragon books lately. That means I need to go hunt dragons.
Yep.
I'm down. Sign me up. Where's this tour? We leave Saturday. Deathwalker says, sounds like they need to start a company if they want challenges. Oh, God.
You got Jason, everybody. You got him.
Oh, God. Don't get me started. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. It is Thursday. Therapy Thursday, as a matter of fact. If you have problems in your life, things you're not getting along with, relationships that are floundering, Baby J and I are here to help. We have the best, worst life advice you'll ever find. So
True.
Ask us anything. We will help with literally the best, worst advice you can find. See, Deadbeat's like, why do I like the Night Lord so much? Cannibal serial killer in our midst. Deadbeat. You're not eating enough people and killing enough, Deadbeat. Don't clip that. Don't clip. Again, really bad life advice. I did warn them. Right? I did. Don't shake your head. You're with me on this. I implicated you. They're coming for both of us.
No.
They're coming. You didn't say anything earlier, so now you're doomed.
All right. Getting out of here
It's all or nothing. Hunting dragons sounds like another great way to thin out some billionaires. Why are you trying to thin out billionaires?
They're doing that themselves.
I was going to say, they don't need much help.
Yeah, they do not.
Tim, you just had a long week of work. You've already got over 40 hours in, and you still have tomorrow? Woo boy. I don't count the hours that I work anymore. It's depressing. Songer's getting there. You were watching Fubar on Netflix. Don't judge. And there was a stand-up display of a Space Marine in a tech guy's home. I saw this in a photo on the internet. They showed that it had the cardboard cut out from the Games Workshop store and his painting hobby area. That's saw. Funny. They said it was from Fubar. I don't know what Fubar is. Is that the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing? I saw a commercial for it, I think. If it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, I'm not watching it. The last time you asked the guy's advice, he told you to buy a Warlord Titan. Not the worst advice you've ever gotten. I mean... That sounds like the kind of answer I would give if you were saying, so my wife's telling me not to buy any more models. Or that you can only buy one. And I was like, here's the one. Buy a Warlord Titan.
Yeah, you get to buy this one.
Of course, she'll never make that mistake again. She'll just make it 0 next time. It's like True Lies, and it is Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't stand that guy. You wonder if Henry Cavill will make tabletop gaming move mainstream? It's a great question. It's something that obviously, even as a business, we ponder, like what's on the horizon for our industry if things like Warhammer 40K start to have more reach. Right now, BattleTech, we had a good conversation in like Miniac's chat the other day where we were discussing BattleTech, and Miniac was like, how is it in Target? How is it that they're in these places that Warhammer can't be, and yet Warhammer is the biggest game on the planet? And it's like, well, they probably have a better sales force, obviously, and have gotten into these big box publishers, but also because their game is related to an IP that's very strong that Microsoft has in MechWarrior that goes back to games that probably a lot of buyers for games at Target remember and know and are known quantities. Whereas Warhammer is a very niche thing, right? Yes, there's Dawn of War. Yes, there's some things you can tie your horse to there, but MechWarrior's been around since, people were getting to enjoy first-person games.
It is old, yeah.
What's that?
It is older.
Oh, it's super old. Yeah. And super good. Has a really, really... Everybody remembers when they played MechWarrior. So I don't know. I can't vouch for that because I'm not in the known circle in there, but I feel like, BattleTech has an end that it's been around for over 40 years, and the rules haven't changed much. It's recognizable. They don't know how to market themselves to save... the brand. I don't think. You buy the game and it's really cool, but you get excited and you go get the penetrator mech or whatever mech you think is great from wherever you want, Iron Wind Metals or wherever mechs are available, and you can't get a data sheet for it to play classic BattleTech, right?
Well, I think that's mostly because they're trying to push the new version.
Well, you can't even you can go buy models from them that you can't find the data sheet.
Oh, really?
You go buy like the Lance pack. Where do you get the data sheet? Where do you get the data sheet for an Atlas variant?
Well, it comes with the cards for the new game.
For Alpha Strike.
That's what I'm saying.
That is not the game they're pouring all the money into. Alpha Strike is kind of like what Games Workshop does when they come out with a box set and it has its own little game in it. Like Burning of Prospero had its own little weird game that it came with, but really it was a 30K game. It was meant for the 30K Forge World rules. But it came with a Burning of Prospero game that had its own dice and cards and a table mat and all that stuff. Alpha Strike's fun, don't get me wrong, but I do not believe they're pushing Alpha Strike.
Interesting.
But you can't get data sheets. You see what we have to do, right? You got to go to that.
I know,
you got to go to Mordell,
yeah,
which is not a site that has anything to do with Catalyst Game Labs.
No.
And you have to download a PDF and hope it's right. That's what you do.
You have to download a PDF and hope it's right.
Isn't Warhammer at Barnes and Noble? They've done that before, right?
Not for a long time.
But they do it in little spurts. They try little things here and there. BattleTech has been at Barnes & Noble, and now they did the deal with Target. It's just, they're doing a really good job of putting it out there. But it goes back to just like what happens if these games start to become more mainstream and people start to really think about it. And you can kind of look at it in a microcosm where GW is. GW is the size that it is because in England, it became mainstream. It became the thing that people bought and did. So it grew and was able to grow and take this life of its own and go into markets that it really didn't have any business being in. Get the license to Lord of the Rings, become mainstream with Lord of the Rings. It did for a minute, right? It didn't hang on to that very well. But Games Workshop is the size that it is because of Lord of the Rings, which made it seem mainstream. People that were going to watch this movie were seeing ads for a tabletop game where they could play Frodo and do the Fellowship of the Rings.
Yep.
And that made them more money than they'd ever seen before in their entire lives.
They're like, oh,
yeah,
hello.
Yeah, a lot of people don't seem to realize that Games Workshop is not as big as they are because of Space Marines. They continue to grow because of Space Marines, but they're where they're at because of Lord of the Rings. Period. End of story. And that was, so it shows you how being that little spark of mainstream can propel you to unheard of levels. So yeah, Henry Cavill, if they do something good with Amazon that creates an IP that people are interested in, because you can imagine like The Witcher. It's probably pretty easy to say that everybody that watches The Witcher is not a Witcher fan. Not
right.
Everybody that watches The Witcher has played the video games or even knows what it was about.
Right.
Right? So The Witcher comes along, and now do they play The Witcher video game? Have they bought an Xbox?
Nope.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. I would like to think that The Witcher has gotten more popularity, sold more copies of the book, sold more games. They came out with that video game for the card game they play in The Witcher or whatever it is. Gwent. That I think did really well. So I think that you start to see that all those ships rise with that recognition. So yeah, I mean, if they do something cool with Warhammer 40K, it's already been talked about in circles that it never was before. Because Henry Cavill will get interviewed by somebody on a mainstream TV show that asks about his hobbies.
Yep, true.
And he winds up talking about, playing Custodes. It's like, what? And they make fun of him for being a nerd and whatever, but a lot of people out there are like, what is this he's talking about? And they Google it.
Yep.
So. Yeah, Target in general has started bringing bigger, more crunchy games in. So I think somebody there in the buying at Target corporate has recognized that there is a market share for having those types of games on the shelves. I can't imagine being the buyer for the toy department at a department store like Target.
Store like that? Yeah.
Like, what the hell do you even do? Because toys are just so readily available everywhere but there, right?
Yeah, they buy weird stuff, too.
Your wife's best friend got blessed out by her husband because some guy bought them $200 of wine. Blessed out? I don't know what this means. Bought them $200 of wine, and she didn't tell him. Now he will not let her leave, so my wife is stuck at home while I'm trying to hobby. What can I do? Huh?
What?
Your wife's best friend got bitched out by her husband? Maybe? It says bless, so I'm assuming that's a mistype. That's an autofill mistake. Right? Some guy bought them $200 of wine, and she didn't tell him. Now He won't. Oh, I think I understand what's going on here. So your friend's wife got bitched out because some guy bought them a bunch of wine while they were out, and now her husband won't let her go out anymore because he found out, like, cheating wife style, right? And so now your wife doesn't have a friend to go out with and is stuck at home while you're trying to hobby. Aha! Buy her some wine.
Yeah.
I feel like you already answered your own question. Buy her $200 of wine. There you go. Don't have to even go out. Don't have to leave home. You can literally get naked drunk and nobody gets arrested. Price, yeah, Panic Bomb. Price has a lot to do with it. That's what I brought up over in Miniac's deal, is that the base set for the Battletech core game, the Game of Armored Combat, comes with more mechs than you need for the game. All the data sheets and everything that you need to play the rules and all that stuff. And I think retails at just sub $60, right? Yeah. And I know that Target's had it on sale for $45 in the past. So, when you look at that, GW has nothing that can compete, right? There's just nothing in that space that is literally like, this is all you need, right?
They have things that's just not in that price range.
Deathwalker says, but I'm still stuck watching dumb TV shows like Revenge. No, you tell her the wine is your friend. I am no longer your friend while the wine is still here. You say, I will be your friend when the wine is gone. When the wine is gone, she's passed out. You go hobby. Why do I have to explain this logic? Get her over here. Pass the phone to your wife. I'll tell her what's going on. This is why Therapy Thursday gets people in a lot of trouble. I didn't say it was good advice. I said it was good, bad advice.
It's good, bad advice.
I said this is the best, worst advice you'd ever get. But 2 drinks in, she gets rowdy. Close the door.
It's rowdy 2 drinks in.
Gosu, yeah, the price of entry for Battletech is very, very low. And imagine that you can buy the Lance packs that come with 4 mechs for, the latest one I bought was $18.75 for 4 mechs. $18.75, I think. The clan stars are like $22. It roughs out to like between $4 and $5 a mech, generally. Right? Which I think is good, because you don't have to build anything. They come pre-built on the bases, ready to go. Ta-da! Bob is your uncle, it turns out.
Bob is, in fact, your uncle.
Bob is, in fact, your uncle. That's the way we should always say that.
Bob is, in fact, your uncle.
Because Aaron will be like, Bob's your uncle. And I'll be like, Bob is, in fact, your uncle.
Be nice to Bob.
She gets handsy. Means she puts hands on you after 2 drinks?
How is that a losing proposition?
Depends on how rowdy you want to get.
That's true.
He said rowdy first and then handsy second, so I'm assuming she's punching him. Battlecat is one of those things you're interested in, but it's not high enough on your list to buy yet. Maybe later go. So yeah, definitely. I think Magic did well enough for Target that they recognize the value of nerds in general between collectibles, games. Hell, you can buy Gunpla at Target now. That's a good point. Get her to hobby with you. Jen's got good advice.
Yeah, Jen's just like...
She's not allowed here.
Coming in with the most appropriate advice. How about you just get her to hobby?
Jen, you got to come sit in the comfy chair with a microphone if you're going to give out advice like that.
Don't tempt her. She'll come down.
I'm trying to.
Well, Jen?
Target does the McFarlane Toys Warhammer stuff. Yeah.
I'm working.
She's like, I happen to be working. I am too.
We're working.
Sort of.
We're doing work.
I'm at work. The clock is ticking. And I'm talking to these nice people on the interwebs. AKA, I'm working. You've tried to get your wife to paint with you. It's not as easy as it sounds. Look what I did. I got mine to paint with me. Now we own a business together. So be very careful. You never know what might happen.
We're like, this is awesome.
This is where she comes up in chat and goes, we are not married. Unfortunately, you can't do your work in there. I know.
Jason had too much fun with you being in here the other day and just wants some more Jen.
I took her to lunch today. We had a lunch date. We never get to do that stuff.
That's good. Lunch dates are good. I came back from grabbing my lunch. I saw you guys gone. I was like, you guys go?
You're about to ask, tell a joke about if Jen had met my wife yet? No.
Law Dog, I'm using thin down glaze of purple transparent and dark plum to thin out the blends. Probably overworking this stuff, but you know, me gonna be me sometimes.
Me gonna be me.
If I didn't repaint it 12,000 times, it wasn't a Jordan paint job. What Legion am I painting? I am painting Soul Drinkers.
The drinkers of your soul.
They do in fact drink your soul. Contrary to what Jason might tell you.
They actually don't drink souls.
They definitely drink souls.
But Baby J lives in his own little version of reality.
Yep. Yeah.
And we around here have decided we prefer just to let it happen.
My reality is happening. I'm on board.
I mean, we just, you know.
Hey, I'll take it.
We just tell you it's fine.
Thanks. I'll run with it. We're going to the Caribbean, right?
Well, we have Gabe in the office next to you. Gabe is the super spy.
The super spy.
It's there to make sure you don't get out of control. So within reason, we can let him believe the things that he wants to believe.
We work in the Bahamas.
Oh, Jen's asking Tim if he ever repaints Pez dispensers. That would be really cool. That's what you should do, but they probably lose their value. That would be fun. You know what we should do? You know what would really make Lumberjack Tim hyperventilate? Let's figure out what the most expensive Pez in the world is. Let's buy 2 of them and paint them.
Oh my gosh.
We watched that Pez Bandit show or whatever it was. The documentary. It was pretty funny.
Jason going off the rails.
You got a container of doubles? We could do that. See, there's now you're thinking. Let's do some crazy paint on freaking Pez dispensers. You got a crate of doubles. Do you go to those shows that we saw on that documentary, Tim? Like, were you in the background at any of those shots? Tim and Ms. Tim? Mrs. Lumberjack?
Mrs. Lumberjack Tim?
Hanging out at the Pez convention.
That's where you met your wife? That's awesome.
Seriously? That's right.
Amazing.
I remember you telling us that. You met her at a Pez convention. How ridiculously awesome is that? I met Jen in jail.
Wait. Really?
Yeah. I was there. I had a job delivering sandwiches to commissary. And Jen was in for 5 to 10.
It was visiting.
And we just started pen paling like you do.
Checks out.
It was visiting day. I was delivering. They let me in. I had a light guard, and I was filling the sandwich machine, right? The vending stuff. And she just, like, it was love at first sight. She's like, "You're the one that brings the Doritos? Do you realize Doritos keep me in cigarettes?" And it was like, it was done. Over. Best thing ever. Ghost says, "I'm glad you're out of jail now, Jen."
Oh my gosh.
I pulled some strings with a judge. I had some blackmail pictures of the judge and most of the members of her parole board. So I was able to get some special favors done. I gave them priority access to the gumball machine in their hallway. promised I'd keep her away from scissors. I have not done very well at that. I gotta be honest. She still has scissors. But I'm usually able to talk her off the cliff before things go south with the scissors. So she's getting better, chat. She's getting better.
Oh my gosh. What is happening? Who do I work for? What is happening? Why am I here?
Isn't just Jason being a liar? Jen goes, usually. Tim, you did say you were getting LASIK. Hopefully on your eyes. He photoshopped the photos. Who knew they would turn out to be true? I mean, you weren't supposed to mention to Jen that I've actually made photos of this whole thing, but that, you know. She is here. Deadbeat. She's here. That was for you, usually keeping me away from sisters. Oh, okay. I try. I am just I'm like 11 of the 12 steps of her recovery process.
11 of the 12.
She's worth it. I'll be 11 of your 12 steps, baby. You haven't been here for one of these, have you?
No.
Where I just kind of go off the rails and tell stories?
Yeah.
So this is who you work for, just to let you know.
I'm gathering that. I'm getting there. Figuring that one out.
So, you know that part of the interview is you can interview us back, right? You just totally skipped that part, which is funny. As soon as he left, Jen and I just went, ha 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 ha. Insert evil laugh here.
And they got me to move down here. This place is trying to kill me. What's happening here?
I need water.
I've been consuming much more water. It's been delightful. Adjusting a healthy.
Oh, I photoshopped the blackmail photos for the judge. No, those are real. No, those are real. Did you propose to her when you went back to a Pez? Is that what you're saying, Tim? That's awesome, if so. You met her at one, started dating, and then proposed to her at another one? Just complete the loop? That's awesome.
That's super cool.
No one ever interviews us back, which is actually very good for us. Because we're very truthful people, which is bad when you're who we are.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. All the whole time when I was coming down here, you were like, I just wanted to let you know, we're kind of crazy. We're very weird.
This might not be like other jobs you've had.
I mean, to be fair, it's not, but it is.
You've hung out with people that are also insane.
Yes.
So
you've met half of the privateer crew. Those people are pretty rowdy and nuts.
Canada Smoke is insane.
It is.
It helps be crazy at Monument, though, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, have you met me?
Yes.
I fit in pretty good.
Yes. We all have a little bit of crazy in us. You have to.
Some more than others. I may or may not fall under the more than others category.
The more than others category? Now you're just boasting. Did I smash cake into Monument Gymnastics' face? I assume you're asking me. We're not married. I can't remember if I've done that before or not. Maybe? That's just kind of like a Friday night for us.
I get the feeling that Jen would not be super happy if somebody smashed cake into her face.
So Jen is, just to let you know how rad Jen is, Jen and I would be sitting around, and it's like, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I'll look at her and I'm like, I need cake and milk.
The cake and milk?
I need chocolate cake and milk, of which we have none in the house. She's like, let's do this.
Let's do this.
Like the Blues Brothers. Like sunglasses, beat up cop car.
Yep.
Grocery store at 10 p.m. Chocolate cake, milk. Done deal. Sometimes we'll be sitting around trying to figure out what's for dinner, and she'll say frozen yogurt. Or I'll say frozen yogurt, and we will have frozen yogurt for dinner because we're grown-ass adults and we can do what we want. Jen says he won't marry me because of the jail. The jail time, not the jail. The jail's a perfect place. It allowed me to earn my living for a lot of years as I refilled their refreshments. So it's not the jail I have a problem with. It's the fact that you did the things that put you there. Gotta keep her in line.
I think we can overlook Jen's indiscretions.
Do you know what she did?
Doesn't matter.
Wow. You
Jen's a good person.
are trying to earn some brownie points.
Of course.
You
kidding me?
You're doing a good job.
Brownie points are worth every little bit of brownie that I have to give up for them.
Did my yellow ochre already dry up? Rat bastage.
Rat bastage.
I don't even know how I'd know. I can't even see it in this mishmash of nonsense on my palette.
I don't like to talk about it. Alright, Jen. You don't have to talk about it because it doesn't matter.
I don't like to talk about my past. It's so funny. I'll look over at her and be like, we'll be talking about something. I'd be like, do we need an intervention? Before I can even get it out of my mouth, she's like, no, I don't have a problem. Jen is literally the best.
She's pretty cool.
She has been the most integral part of our little craziness at Monument Hobbies coming to full light. Can't beat that with a stick.
Well, you can, but we shouldn't.
Well, depends. Do you want to meet your partner in jail?
Like I said, you can, but we shouldn't. We can definitely do that, but we definitely shouldn't.
Chat, we didn't meet in jail, just in case anybody was wondering. Just before it gets too far off the rails here, chat. It's not true. I'm making all this stuff up.
We've been off the rails for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I always worry, like, when new people join the stream and they come in and they go, what exactly did I walk into?
We're a bunch of clowns.
We are a bunch of clowns. I lie a lot.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
a lot.
Yep. If you're around here long enough, you eventually become one as well. There's a tag for it.
24 months.
All it takes is 24 months to become a true liar.
A little bit of dedication, you too can be a liar. You gotta prove it. You can't just like walk in here and tell us you got a bridge to sell us in Nebraska.
You can.
We've never fallen for that, not even that one time.
Hey Jason, I got a bridge in Nebraska.
You are not going to pull that over on me again.
But it's quite nice.
Yeah,
this
that's
time
what
of
you
year.
said about the last one.
No,
Last one, not nice.
That one didn't quite work out. It wasn't exactly what we were looking for.
Last
But
one,
this one,
not necessarily nice, baby J.
I'm telling you, this one is the one.
So, you ever heard that thing? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Shame on me again.
I think it was something like that.
Yep.
I think it's actually fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me thrice. Shame on me again.
I feel like yes.
At some point, you got to stop getting fooled.
Well, that time is now because I'm not buying the bridge.
Oh, you're buying the bridge.
Mom!
Jen, we're buying the bridge. What's happening?
I don't understand what.
I'll send you the logistics this evening.
So the one person who I guarantee, the one person I guarantee is not buying a bridge from you, Jen.
Look, I'm spending some brownie points, okay? We're gonna make it happen.
You need to come to the realization that Jen is the person that it's very, very difficult when you walk in there and say, hey, I need to spend like $130 on this thing. And she's going to be like, I don't really feel like we need that thing.
I might say that to you.
Oh, here we go.
But I got brownie points. Brownie points get you places in this world. I'm just saying, I've been building up those brownie points for a while, and sometimes you gotta spend them. And that time just so happens to be when I want to buy a bridge.
Jen, do you realize you've been taken advantage of? That's what this is. These brownie points, that just means he was lying to you.
No, I would never.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'm exposing your entire Ponzi scheme
No.
of nonsense here, Baby J.
Wrong. It's inaccurate. Like speaking facts here. Things that you were saying are actually true. As simple as that.
The brownie points have 0 cash value, Jen says.
They don't need to have cash value. They just need to have persuasive value.
You're trying to get her to buy a bridge.
Yeah. I don't have to have the cash to buy the bridge.
Oh my God.
I just have to have the persuasion with which to.
What is going on
somebody
here?
else to buy one.
What is going on here?
Look, you brought me here.
I cannot be blamed. Jen allows me to do the things I do.
Then you gonna let him throw you under the bus for that one?
We've been dealing with that for quite a few years.
I'm telling you though, this bridge, fantastic. Great view.
8 years of dealing with me, she's not buying a bridge. I'm just going to tell you this right now.
Neither of you have seen the bridge yet. Can't say no until you've seen it.
Jen is the adult in the room.
What's an adult?
Yes, and I don't even feel bad about saying it.
We definitely aren't. I don't know what an adult is, but I can't imagine that I am one.
You're supposed to be one.
So are you? Aren't you like older than I am?
Yeah, but I already did my adult time.
So you are no longer an adult?
Correct. I don't have to do it anymore.
What does that make you now? Yeah, answer me that one. Riddle
like
me this, Batman.
Like a older kid.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why this is so hard to come to grips with. A bridge too far. A bump, bump, bump.
Whoever said that?
Great reference.
Of course it would be Wadtomaton. You're a retired adult. Retired from adulting.
Want to adult anymore. It's getting boring. Alright, sarcophagus face thing done. Done enough, at least, that we can do this now. That bad boy back up in there. That's what it was missing. Now he's all Mr. Glamour Shots.
Glamour. Glamour shots.
Antique preteen. I don't really want to go back. Okay, so here's a good conversation. Like, I don't really want to be a preteen, right? I think my 30-somethings were cool, but I've always talked about the fact that I would not go back and do any of it again. I'm perfectly fine with how it all turned out. right? I just don't want to adult anymore, right? I feel like maybe now we can just be like, so the mistake that we've made is that you're an infant, and then you're whatever, small child, and then you're a teenager, and then you're a young adult, and then you're an adult, and then you just, it just goes on. Like, then you get to be a 30 something, and then you're an elderly adult, but you're always an adult, right? I feel like maybe we need to look at where that stops being true, and we create something new that has less responsibilities. He's ignoring me.
Mm-hmm.
He said, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's death? It's adult and then death. See, and I'm saying that we break the cycle and put something else in there. Adult, super fun time, death. Retirement home. That doesn't solve any of these issues. You become the dude. See? He had it right.
The dude.
He had it right. Super fun time. Why are you harshing on my mellow? That's called being elderly. Just White Russians all day long. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
Ready for all day White Russians?
No. Nor do I want like things with mint leaves in them out by the pool all day long either. Not really my thing on either front. I'd go absolutely bananas if I had to like sit around and not do what I'm doing right now.
You would get very bored.
Yeah, retirement is not for me. Can't do it.
I know you well enough, you'd just be like,
not interested.
Not,
It's
yeah.
just not interested. I gotta do stuff. I'm bad at vacation.
Hey, you don't like those very much.
Not a fan, man. There's
Oh.
always something better to do.
Vacations are great.
Going in with a little bit of the new warm white that will be coming out with the next signature set. Giving a little bit more brightness to some of these points. It is not overly bright when compared to the pale yellow, but it will bump it up a little bit, and because it's satin, it'll have a little bit more reflectivity. So if you just take a satin paint, put it over the top of a matte paint in a little spot, you know, like right here on the tip of this little wing, dot on the skull, and on the nose, that kind of stuff, then that reflection of light in the room hitting that little spot of satin will help make sure that that little point always is a little bit shinier than everything else around it, kind of cheating the system of painting with flat paints. Great way to accentuate non-metallic for sure. I can think of other areas where that might be fun to do.
my new purple glaze color that I love is dark plum and purple transparent. It's my new jam.
What was it?
It's dark plum and purple transparent.
Purple transparent.
Gives you this really nice, rich purple.
Just trying to pull all my really bright shine over to the left now. You'll notice I'm not doing much of the brighter color on this side of things. This side of the face, this side of the wing, this side of the sword hilt. I'm going to keep it all over here if I can. A couple of high spots elsewhere, but not much. I got something sneaky to show you guys when I'm done here.
Oh.
You interested? Anybody interested?
I'm gonna laugh when
If you're here at the beginning of the show, you know I was off screen doing some things.
I guess. Avian says they guess.
You don't have to. No, I'm not forcing you.
You guys don't need to see cool stuff. It's fine.
Say no. I like that. He's very nice and shiny. Songer says, I'm anxiously awaiting any big reveal that I might be spending my money on. Well, this is a long way away reveal. This is just like super tease. Not gonna lie. What you're
super tease.
What you're about to see is El Super Tease. It's kind of giving you the ultimate behind the scenes look at things in a way. All right. I dig that. He's kind of into detail phases now. I mean, part of the details being that we have to highlight all the red. But, you know, other than that, he's done. Haha! Plaid colored paint. Pain colored plaid. Seams in the calves. Yeah, this is an eBay rescue, so I was not worried about filling that It's meant to be that way. It's engineered that way. What you don't know is that when times get bad, his calves split open to turn into rocket feet so that he can boost out of harm's way. So that's just the, things might be getting grim, so he's unlocked them to prepare for rocket feet. That's what that is. That's GW canon. That's not up for argument. It's not something we need to talk about, because if you don't know, then do you even 40K, bro?
I mean, well, if they don't know, obviously
You want jump dreads? Play 30K. The Blood Angels have a jump dread. They have a Contemptor Dreadnought with jump pack.
You have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Man even
has one. It's going to be my Death Company dread. My Death Company Dreadnought, because it has a dual power claws. Doesn't have a gun. Well, it has guns in its claws, but it's dual close combat and a jump pack. It's brutal. I'm going to paint it black. Death Company. Ta-da! BA dreads get wings.
Except for Dante. Dante doesn't get wings. He's not been a good boy.
What's that?
I say Dante doesn't get wings because he hasn't been a good boy.
Oh, mine got wings. This is the place for Dante to come to get wings. Can we get rid of Baby J's screen for the reveal? Sure.
Wow.
Baby J gone.
Soul.
Baby J and his purple Marines gone. They look really good though.
I see how it is.
Look at that. The gold's amazing.
You guys don't like my models? It's okay.
Gold's amazing.
I don't like it.
I like the highlights on the purple too.
Yeah, it took a while to get to
the same kind of scritchy, not too drastic highlights.
Yeah,
I like it.
Took a lot to get the highlights to a place where it was toned down, and I really wanted dark purple armor.
Yeah, and the white helmet works really, really well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you do the warm gray?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I did.
I like it. I like the white down on the little
on the
leg deal too. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about doing one of the shoulder pads.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, I
like it all purple.
Yeah.
Especially when you drop the gold chalice on them.
Right. I'm gonna do the gold chalice on one, and I'll probably do some other freehand bit on
a number.
Yeah, a number or something.
That guy is number 47B. Just hashtag justice for Baby J. What?
Yep.
How did he earn justice? Doing one of those in black would be classy for some Death Company. Yeah, I'm doing it in black, and I'm going to leave the jetpack on it, even though that's not how Death Company dreads work. I just feel like it fits the army better, because all my Death Company have jetpacks. So having a Death Company dread with a jetpack will look cool, even though it doesn't work that way. Could put him in a drop pod or something, maybe. All right. All right. All right.
Jason, tell them what they want.
Ain't nobody won nothing.
Want a sneak preview?
Well, they did win a sneak preview.
Yeah.
A quick inner look, a quick behind the scenes, BTS as it were, of some of the goings on with our first ever miniatures game. We are doing some of the in-house testing. We'll probably be painting some of these up for fun, but some of the in-house testing for the way that our sculpting and manufacturing might go for these. This guy is a single piece mini, obviously, with the base. I just grabbed a resin base, but they'll come on 25 mil bases. So we're just looking at it. So we've got I've got 3 miniatures here. I have 4, but one of them has got some manufacturing defects, so we couldn't prove it. But some fun stuffs. Some fun stuffs. I figured I'd T Schmidt says teaser for new game. Are we right? Well, T Schmidt, look at you. So this is a light infantry size, 25 mil base, 28 to 30 mil tall. Our light infantry are fairly small models, right? They go on 25 mil bases. This one is for a particular faction. That the models on this one, our game is not built around factions. It's built around archetypes, the way you would play. And the faction models that go in with it could technically be anything that kind of fit that play style visually. And so these guys are like cybernetic humanoids that have replaced a lot of their functioning parts with robotics, a la kind of AdMech without the religion, right? Think of it that way. Just as their tree of life is technology kind of thing. So we've got the thinking machines, again, kind of a harkening back to the Dune, Cymex and such. Medium infantry, a little bit bigger. So again, some of the first off sprue minis. These are done in Cyocast, but done on sprues when possible. This obviously is a single piece, like I said, for this guy, so very easy pose. Neat pose, but keeps it in easy to mold. The light infantry, in the game, all of the miniatures are individual poses. There's no duplicates. So you get, in this particular faction starter pack, you get 4 light infantry, 2 medium, and a heavy. And the 4 light all are different poses. So we're playing around with some poses that are easy to sculpt. Some will be multi-part. But where we can go single piece, we will, just to keep it easy for people to get into and still have it be, a dramatic enough pose. Yeah, and this is just a really basic, like, hard surface kind of guy. We're still playing around with some of the design concepts and things, dealing with, like, overlapping panels. And, my view on robotics is always that it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It would actually be fairly simple to, get the task across. And since I'm the main design guy, we get a lot of my vision. We've got a lot of weird finger archetype things going on how it grabs to give a positive hole on poles and stuff. You can see it here. He's got basically, like, instead of a pinky, he's got like 2 thumbs. Better for grabbing. And then we got heavy, and this one's not from the same faction. And this is as big as a dreadnought. This is the scale of our game: light infantry versus heavy infantry.
Yeah, model is pretty sick.
So, different archetype of play with the faction this guy represents. This is a 7-piece model, obviously, and we're playing around with some of the like how the seams work and things like that. How we're doing our cuts for the models and stuff. So, learning along the way. This guy has a big solar panel fueled cannon, plasma style cannon on his shoulder. Big beast of a rhino guy.
I like shoulder mounted weapons. They look cool. People don't do shoulder mounted stuff enough.
Gosu, yeah. This whole faction's archetype is that it utilizes the power of light to energize all its stuff. So it's got solar panels powering his big energy cannon and things like that. So, neat deal. Been easy to clean up. It's a big chunk of resin on the Cyocast hard stuff, which I've been pretty pleased with how it cleans up. We do get some mold lines and things like that in it. So we're not sold on Cyocast or I keep calling it Cyocast, whatever it is. We're not sold on Cyocast for production. but for testing for the prototyping, we've got these going on, and we probably will continue with Siocast for the first edition of all 6 of the initial release factions. There will be 6 playable archetypes in the game when we launch, and the 6 archetypes are very different from one another as far as their gameplay goes. The models obviously will be very different in terms of, you know, the difference between big, you know, high-tech cyber mechanoid dudes and rhinos out in the sun. So there's some really cool archetype things going on with the models. We're still in principal development concept-wise for a lot of the other archetypes. These 2 factions are fleshed out. We have all 7 of the miniatures. Each of these factions starts with 7, so you have 4 lights, 2 mediums, and a heavy. And that is the same for both of these 2. So there's light infantry. We do have the medium infantry. I can show you the model, but it's not approved. I think it's on my desk still.
Hello! We have a Yakov. Where are you going? You want to see something cool? Oh. You want to do Space Marine? Russian spy, hide the goods.
This is the medium infantry size that would go with the Rhino guys faction. This model got messed up in doing the STL for single piece. The arms were out and the pole arm was away from his body. It got drawn too far into his body and like overlaps the thigh plate and stuff. So a little bit of a mistake there. It also warped his arm as it pulled it back into his body. So the weapon's intended to be held out more in front. But other than that, it gives a good feel for what the faction is intended to be. It's kind of a Mad Max meets Wakanda style feel, with the normal light infantry are humanoid, more human humans, and then these guys are a crossbreed between the Rhino. It's hard to see, but their skin is textured like the Rhino's skin is textured. So the medium infantry are kind of a genetic hybrid between the Rhino dudes and the humans. And then the light infantry I don't have any physical representations of, but they're the 25 mil guys.
Jacob came over and then he left because he's a bud.
What about the Secret Seventh? T. Schmidt? Secret Seventh what? Faction? There is a 7th faction. There is a 7th archetype, but it's shared across all the other ones. You don't have miniatures for it. Will there be ape men with him? We're probably not going to do apes. That's an archetype that I really love, but I don't think we'll do apes right out of the gate. It's not guaranteed, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
Hi.
Hello.
She tried to bite my digits. I have the best hair ever. This one is really crazy. And I see it over there. It's like doing this. It's like the wind blows it every now and then. That one? That one? That one's good.
Oh, good.
When the hat comes off, it's time to party.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, they can't handle that. That's why they're out there.
Yeah.
If they were here, it'd be over.
Yeah.
Where'd Yakov go?
He left because he's lame.
Lame. You leaving too?
Yeah.
Lame. All right. Well, good seeing you. Glad we got to hang out some. Yeah. We got to go to lunch.
What'd you guys do for lunch? Los Dos.
Taco salad.
That's pretty good.
Had taco salad.
A pretty good place to go for lunch.
Tim, you're getting a haircut Saturday? I need to get a haircut too. I try to do it on weekdays though, and this whole week has just kind of gone south as far as giving me time to go get my hair chopped. It's going to be a real struggle for the person that has to cut it when I go. My hair is very robust. So yeah, so we're very excited. We are going through all the archetype play right now. We're getting down to the point to where we're starting to separate out a lot of the functionality into the we've balanced and tested gameplay without the archetypes in mind. just to make sure that functionality works, that all of the things that units can do, and how the game plays, and timing, and management of health, and all of that works well. We're pretty good with the numbers, and the overall game mechanics are very solid. So now it's really just a matter of nailing down the archetypes, the individual stuff, and then trying to balance them again to make sure nobody takes it in the shorts, that all of them are competitive. A Monument M on a belt buckle or shield someplace. Yeah, we could do something like that, right? Like the power pack or something could have an M on it or something like that. I could see something like that happening on some of the models. I could see that being a thing. These guys are my favorite guys so far. The light infantry for this faction are all very Bushido robot style.
Very cool.
Which I really dig. Right? With just enough cloth and such. And then as they move up in scale, the heavy I'm excited to get done. The heavy is basically like a three-legged walker. As they go up in size, they get less and less human. So as they rank up, they get more of their body parts replaced and become more robotic to where they're only just a brain in a jar kind of a thing at the end. Bushido and robots, yes sir, can I have some more? The nice thing is you're not locked into this for the faction, so if you like the way this particular faction plays, I think you'll be excited to know that you could have like the Rhino play with the rules from these guys. So one of the things that I really take heart in is that no matter what you like as far as the models go, you'll be able to play the game the way you want to. Regardless of how the core rules for that faction play, you can swap it with another faction if you want. So, a lot of fun. Any chance of community-involved beta testing? For sure. Yep, for sure. What we're trying to do right now is kind of figure out. We're all new to this, right? I mean, we're new. We're not new to playing games. I'm not new to the core concepts and development of games, but we're new to the timing of the mechanics of production and such. So right now, that's why we're doing this. We're going ahead and investing in getting some of the models and the cuts and molds made so that we can get them done. Jordan and I can put paint on them, see how we like the detailing that we're doing. We're really trying to keep our detailing on the model somewhere between absurd, and really cool before the paint, and also very paintable so that an artist can go wild with it. And I think we've hit a really, really strong center point there. Stuff like this with a lot of skin, but there is a lot of texturing on the skin. The rhino skin has a bunch of bumpy elephant-ish, rhino-ish texture to it. So it gives a good palette to paint on. There's a lot going on. It would take detail pretty well, but also, not as daunting for painting like a huge thing. It doesn't have, 50 million doohickeys and barrels and things sticking off of it. Good God, though, he really is the large chunk of a Redemptor Dreadnought. Like, it's no joke. So,
I mean, if he was standing straight up, he would be the same size as you.
Yeah. The all of the heavies are 75 mil. There's a faction that the starter set is 4 heavies. So all of the starter sets have a little bit of flavor. There's four of the 6 starter sets. No. 3 of the 6 starter sets are the same. 4 light infantry, 2 medium infantry, 1 heavy. One of the starter sets is 4 heavies. One of the starter sets is all mediums, and one of the starter sets is 2 mediums and all light infantry, no heavies. So, and that all fits the core archetype for that faction. There will be heavies available to them at a later date, but that's kind of the idea right now, to give you an idea. But yeah, as far as involving the community, that's our plan. We don't know how that works or what it looks like as we grow the game. It may be something that obviously starts here local to us. It may be something where we do events, that we would do like a weekend beta test open event here where we would maybe give away on stream flights to come in and beta test. That sounds pretty cool.
It'd be pretty rad.
Like, what if we did some giveaways for like a weekend flight and hotel to come in and beta test with us? You'd be on the hook for your food and entertainment, but you could come in and beta test. What if would anybody be down for that? I'm sure nobody would like that idea, though.
No, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine any nerds would like that idea, though. So maybe we won't do that. That sounds like a bad idea.
Oh. Just a little bit of super secret stuff coming down the road.
Panic bomb you're in. Yeah, I feel like we'll probably throw together some fun stuff like that. We don't have a calendar for that yet. Obviously, we still have a lot to do with internal testing, getting things right, and then prototyping on a lot of the playability assets for the rest of the game. It's not just miniatures that are important. There's a lot of other things that we have to get right. But we're way down that road. We're already getting some good quotes back for production and manufacturing of things. So I think we're in a good space as far as getting full playtest sets and all of that. But I think we would want to keep it in a controlled environment for as long as possible, because it's a game that is going to generate a ton of questions the first time you play it. And we want to make sure as we give it out to alpha, early beta, that we're there to talk about it. One of the things we've talked about is taking it on the road, that we might go and tour some shops in other areas, obviously shows, but we hope to release before we get to too many more circuits of big shows. So that'll be interesting to see. Timing is always the toughest thing to navigate. And all that fiction you're going to need help with. We have one book written, one novella written already. It needs another edit pass on it, some story alteration to it, just a little bit of minutia to get it dialed in the way I like it. But we do hope to have a novella available as we go through all of that beta stuff, so that everybody can participate, get a PDF or whatever. I don't know that we're going to sell it. If we do, it would be $1 or $2, just to help pay the author costs and things like that. But we're looking at getting a lot of that fiction laid out for you as you put your hands on the game the first time, so you start to understand and comprehend the goal of where you're at and where you're headed. We have big dreams. We have two games that are going to come out before that.
I'm excited for those too.
Yeah, we have two games that are coming out before that also have miniatures, but are not miniature games, if that makes sense. They are both games that are more built around being able to play as tabletop board game style things, where the miniatures are just cool avatars that are fun to have, but don't really have anything to do with the game. There's no physicality to, 3-dimension in them. But should be cool. I'm excited to get you guys excited and to give you more impressions and visuals. And our first game is hopefully going into production this next month.
There's so much stuff going on this month.
Yeah, I know, right?
Cow.
So in July, we hope to get it into production, which means that it would ship by most likely end of August, if not before then. And depending on ship times, we would have that game for, I would like to say, if all things work out right, that by October our first game is launching, that the Kickstarter's already over. And for those of you that know my ideas on Kickstarter, we are building the game first. We will have it in stock for Wave 1, what we feel is a good amount of product for Wave 1. We will then kickstart it, give some neat incentives and things like that, let you buy it in at a better cost or whatever, get it out to retailers that way and things like that, so that we can generate a bunch of buzz, because that's really what Kickstarter's for, is a big marketing tool. But it'll be a true pre-order. At the end of the Kickstarter, Wave 1 would ship, because it'll all be here. So that's our plan. We spoke about that last week, I think.
Yep.
And if all goes well, then, I don't know. Things never happen this way. But if all goes well, we'd be doing that in September, running the Kickstarter in September, and then product would be hitting people in October. So, could be fun. We got to get all the miniature stuff figured out on that one. We are working on sculpts now, so that's kind of the hang up. The game will come first, the miniatures might follow. So we got to figure out all the timing. Loads of fun.
Loads.
And then the second game is right on its heels. Like, literally, the second game, after the first game drops, the second game might be January. Like, it's that fast. It's already pretty much done. It's through its, I would call it pretty solid beta playtesting. There's been some game alterations made here recently. I sit down with a designer again next week. So hopefully if we do well on the first one, we'll do the second one quick on its heels. And then all the while in the background, the miniatures game is being worked on, and that'll be our third game. Take it easy, Gosu.
Hey, Gosu. We will see you mañana.
Yeah, we didn't sleep much around here, by the way.
No.
Not really in our calendar of events is the whole sleep thing.
What is sleep?
Yeah, exactly. What? Sleep? What is this sleep thing you talk of?
You guys do this thing?
What is this sleep thing you speak of? Lots going on. What's target price for the first game? $29.99? $30? $30 for the base game. Each miniature will be somewhere in that neighborhood as well. So the miniatures will be 75 millimeters. So if you remember the cost, like we did during our Ev 11 paint party or Mother 11 paint party, those miniatures were anywhere from like $25 to $35. These miniatures will be the same, but they'll be resin. They won't be 3D printed. They'll be actual molded and cast resin. And so they'll be a little bit more expensive because of the amount of human touches they get, but they'll be that much better in quality. So you could get, we haven't figured out all the base pricing, but the base game with all the cards and tchotchkes you need to play it is targeted right now between that $30 and $40 range, but we're thinking 30. We're thinking the low end is attainable. We have to add a few moving parts to it from our production quote right now, but as long as we can make it work for Kickstarter numbers, then we plan to keep it around there. I think the worst case would be $35 for the base game. And then if the miniatures come in at, say, $30 a piece, just being, generous on them without the sculpts being done and without us seeing volume of resin needed right now, if you consider them to be like $35 again, the cost of the game, then you could get the game and a miniature for $70. And the game is a 2-player set. The miniatures are just fun to paint. They're just something we're going to throw in there to be cool.
Yeah, they're not required.
Jordan and I will be painting them on screen. They're really bitching. The characters in the game are really bitching. The theme of the game is really cool. I think you guys are really, really going to like it. It's fun to play. At the core, it doesn't matter what it's about if it sucks, but it's fun to play. So it'll be exciting to see what people think. We'll be doing some videos, obviously, of us playing around here.
We're on to the end of this model.
Nice. That was very quick.
Getting most of the way done with it. Thank you, Mr. Funkadizzle. Depending on which gold trim you're talking about. There's many gold trims around here.
Bakamaro, any chance of getting STL files for some of the miniatures in the shop, like the Journeyman stuff? Probably not. A lot of those models are done with the artists that worked with them in mind, and so the artist gets a chunk of the proceeds, and STLs just don't do that very well. Not impossible, but we will be getting all of the Mindworks game stuff on the site this weekend, if not before. We have all of the Mindworks stuff in stock. I say all of it. A bunch of the Mindworks models are in stock. If you're not familiar, Mindworks Miniatures makes tremendous stuff. A lot of it limited edition, done by famous artists. We've got a bunch of stuff that's limited to, 250, 500, 600 units available. And we've got the last ones on the planet for some of those, which is cool. Funkadizzle says, "Purple dude, what's your gold shadow color?"
The
Mahogany.
gold shadow color? Mahogany. This gold is 4 colors. It is mahogany, burnt orange, warm yellow, and pale yellow. That's it.
Great combo.
And maybe a touch of white if you really want to be spicy.
It's a great combo.
But it's very simple.
Oh yeah, they clipped it yesterday.
Oh, did they?
Where we talked about both of them.
Ah, perfect.
We need to post that clip up.
I'll pull it.
Tell yeah, either you or
I'll take
Jabe.
it. Jabe's got all sorts of stuff he's working on right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jabe's kind of loaded. Loaded for bear before he gets out of town. No dancing?
Why not?
I literally knew you were dancing.
Why not?
I do not understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. No dancing. There's no dancing. What do you think this is? The dancing place? This is the painting place. Not the dancing place.
No singing, no dancing.
Correct.
Yeah.
I
Not an
know.
awful lot of fun around here.
I am the enemy of fun. The one that actually paints tiny soldiers.
Law Dog. Oh yeah, I meant to thank y'all for uploading the streams to YouTube. It's heaps more convenient to catch up there than watch Twitch VODs.
Awesome.
That's good. Thank you for that feedback.
It will start to happen on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We
We're
have
working through
finally
the
got
backlog.
the bodies in place and the commitment working to get it going.
Yep.
Jabe has been doing a fantastic job of getting all of the ones that we could grab, since most of them get deleted after 60 days.
Yeah.
He saved what he can, and then everything else will just be from here on out as we do them. Pretty soon you'll start seeing them up on YouTube within days. That'll start once the last of the old ones are posted, and I think that happens maybe tomorrow. Gabe was saying. I think he was feeling pretty good about by the end of this week or beginning of next, or the weekend maybe, because he's gone next week. That we would have all of the old ones up. So
cool.
we'll see.
Great.
Artists need paid for sure. Kills me to think of paying that much for the Morgan and then painting it with your bozo talent as a gift, but something we'll just have to look at it. I mean, you still get the thing, right? So the reality is it's always worth it, right? No matter what you think your talent is, you still get a model that's tremendous. And the Morgan, all of those models, when you see the Mineworks stuff, incredible sculpts, incredible models that, you could just buy them and zenithal prime them and put them on a damn shelf.
Yep.
And you'd be happy.
Yep.
So don't worry about it. Let it sit there and look cool until you feel your skills get up to the point where you don't have that fear, right? I like that little pop of pale pink. There's a little bit of that metal on the red, but keeps the red out of the way of the gold.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, for STLs for these types of things are really not the plan. I can't speak for the guys at Journeyman and Mineworks, but I know that that's not where their heads are at generally. It doesn't mean that there wouldn't be certain sculpts that come down the path that would be available in STL. But out of the stuff that's available now, I think it would be, you know, later on down the road when it's just a thing that's being retired, you know, like isn't going to be released anymore, that maybe you could see that. But again, I'm putting words in their mouth, and that's not my place to do that. We've got some other really cool miniature stuff on the way. As a matter of fact, I hope to see sculpt on those this weekend on the first one. Did I show you guys that yesterday, Jordan?
No.
No, as a matter of fact, I don't think
No, I don't think you did.
you did.
I don't even know that.
I think I pushed the file out and did not.
Let us know.
No, I pushed the file out and then never sent it to you.
Oh.
I intended to do that before the end of the day, and that just didn't happen. So, there you go. That I'm not going to sneak peek for everybody in chat, unfortunately. Gotta wait for that one until we have it in our hot, grubby little hands. Remind me after the show if you stick around for a minute.
Oh, yeah. I'll stick around.
You can come in and take a look at it on the PC.
I'm in no rush. Oh, is that for the thing that we were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we already have, I mean, talk about lightning fast. I already have a near workable sculpt. Yeah, it's freaking great. It looks rad. Like, I'm like, how fast can we get this made? I've already got the Siocast guy on the horn being like, okay, so this is coming to you next week. How fast can you turn it around? I'm very excited if you can't tell. Do not dally. No dilly-dally here, boys. I need this quickly. So we'll see. I like this, but holy hell, is going to take forever.
The gold or the red.
Flick says, Jason's that green, warm white, the workup you used on Dante 2? Yeah. Dark yellow green to warm white. Now, Dante has more color on him, right? Obviously, because of a character model. So he winds up starting in the Payne's Gray. Right? So you can see kind of the dark blue gray. Just because the whole army has Payne's Gray on it, either the shadows or the red on the red guys are all done in the Payne's Gray into plum, that dark plum. So that's what gives us the shadow on the red. And then on the black is all Payne's Gray, and then plum, the dark plum in the shadows. So it keeps it consistent. So because he's completely gold, I went ahead and took liberties there. And so his shadows start out with Payne's Gray. And then there's also some of the plum reflections in there that are intended to give you the idea that, you know, he's around his boys. You know, so you'll find some magenta style plum in there as well. So there's a lot more going on. But the base coloration for him, yes, is the same dark yellow green, yellow ochre, pale yellow, warm white. For Mr. Dante. And it works out well. And it doesn't look, it has a little bit more nuance, so I mean it looks a little different from the rest of the guys. It's not quite as yellow because of the Payne's Gray and the magentas and stuff, but it works very well. It's like a more polished version of the army, so to speak.
He's also the only guy who's all gold. Other than the other thing.
Technically, the Sanguinary Guard are supposed to be, but I'm not painting them that way.
Oh, I didn't.
The Sanguinary Guard are going to be red, except for their breastplate will be gold, and their shoulder pads will be gold. So they'll be gold across the shoulders.
Yeah.
And then everything else will be red plate. So. And hey, Flick, how you doing, man? Just make up and give away STLs that are 1-to-1 GW models. What could go wrong? You want us to stay in business, right, Wazoozer? It doesn't sound like it.
That's a way to not do business.
Baka, the FOMO factor is a turnoff for you? What are you talking about? In what? Well, it's like showing things to Baby J and not us. It makes me a jerk. I don't like, I don't like showing you guys things in STL form because there's a lot of things that change, and I don't like setting those expectations, you know, because we might find out in production that it can't happen the same way, and so I prefer to show you guys physical product, paint when I actually have it, as opposed to here's a color we're thinking about. Awesome, Flick. A model that's primarily magenta, so you don't think a warm gold's going to work. So you're looking for something colder. Yeah, that's kind of the reason for doing this whole thing on these guys, is because of the fact that you are already at, this blasted red. So when you throw a gold on it, I didn't want it to be the gold like what Baby J's doing. That works because he's got a more subdued kind of plum purple that has that blue hit to it. So it kind of straddles that mid-temperature range. Red is like fire. It's like, other than painting these guys Imperial Fist yellow, this is where warmth lives. So having the golds kind of be a little cooler with that green base, number one, gives me a cool tarnished 40K-ish feel to them without adding to the heat, right? You could use purples and things like that as well if you didn't like the way the green worked with the magenta. The purple might be kind of cool. But I think green's always a really good solid way to go. It gives a really good looking gold or bronze, depending on how you want it to look at the end of the day. And it's pretty simple to do, right? It's only the, 4 or 5 colors.
Yeah, I think, all the golds are pretty simple to do. It's just figuring out the best way to execute it and put the light.
Yeah, and I'm not worried about on the regular dudes. I say regular dudes. The Dreadnought's not really a regular dude, but he is. I'm not worried about on these guys going back and adding in any kind of like secondary reflective colors. I'm not doing that on these guys. They're really just meant to be done fast. So. Yeah, I don't mix any of the colors, Flick. For this workup, I don't mix any of them. You do the first layer thin every time you go to the next color. So you do dark yellow green, thin, and then add opacity, or dark yellow green, I guess you kind of do opaque over the whole thing because it's a base coat. Then with the yellow green, you do a layer thin and then opaque and moving into the blend area. And then same with every color, but there's no blends. You don't have to blend the yellow with the green or anything. If I punch in, you can see that it's really done just very, very heavy handed. Right, you can see like even down here where it goes from the dark yellow, yellow, pale yellow, and then that's all 5 colors represented right there. On the bright side, I don't leave as much of the mid-tone, just so I can blow out the highlight. Yeah, it's really, really heavy-handed sketching. I mean, the silver I'd say is the same way, but the silver's legit only 2-3 colors, right? So it's even less. When you're going fast, you're just trying to get that contrast on there.
It's amazing how much you can get done with non-metallic metals with just like 2 or 3 colors.
Yeah. Yeah, and on Dante, we realized we did the base of Dante's armor in one Friday stream. That one's up on YouTube right now, where I go from prime to pretty much finished gold on all of him. I don't think I got the highlights on the backpack by the end of that stream, but we got everything to brush highlights on him. Then I went back over the weekend, which is unfortunately not in a VOD because I just came in over the weekend and did it, and I airbrushed in the blends, right? Because when we left the stream, stuff like the sketchiness where I had sketched my light in on the thigh and shoulder plates and everything was a little rougher than I liked. Because I don't know that I intended to have it as done as it was. I was doing my standard sketch, and then I thought I'd glaze, blend everything. But when I got it done, it looked so close by the end of that Friday stream. I was already so stoked with it that I was like, screw it. I'll just come in with the airbrush and do it. So I just got a little bit of the pale yellow in the airbrush, thinned it way down, and then just went in over the highlight spots and let the airbrush blend it out. You can't really tell. But that way you don't have to spend any time on the brush. So you'll watch the video and you'll see how sketchy it is, and then you look at it now, and that's literally just coming in with the airbrush and just getting in close and doing a little spray on the knee, a little spray on the calf, a little spray on the thigh, and just going around in little areas and giving it a couple of spritzes to a very, very thin paint so that you don't get the airbrush texturing. It doesn't feel soft like you use the airbrush, right? But you'll see in that video that I did airbrush the first base layers. Everything up to, I think everything up to maybe just the dark yellow-green and the yellow-green, actually. I don't remember if I did the yellow ochre through the airbrush. If I did, I also came back with yellow ochre on the paintbrush and lined it all out, so... You need to learn to accept the painterly sketching. You spend way too long blending, glazing, trying to get rid of all the surface. Well, I mean, a lot of that is your style, just wanting to find something that fits, right, and that gets you happy. But, you know, I'm a fan of, here, if I go back over here, I can get in a little tighter. Right? So you can see that it's still smooth enough that it stands the test of time. I mean, you'll see, you know, a ton of painters, you know, that'll be winning Slayer swords that have got sketchier than this on their models. It really is just a matter of controlling your brush strokes so that the directionality of your brush stroke makes sense on the surface you're painting. Oh, little bitty hair of red right there.
A little bit of reflection, it's fine.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's what that is.
Yep.
You know, but then you can see how just a little touch with the airbrush, you know, gives that spot blend at the brightest spots where you see that contrast. So I think that's why you'll see people go through and do that, because when you go in and you put this brightest highlight on the thigh, if you're doing that sketchy, that has the absolute most contrast, and so it really, really jumps out and shows your brush strokes. And so going back with the airbrush with that bright color and just feathering that a little bit real quick. I mean, it takes 5 minutes to go in with the airbrush and feather this entire model, and then you get back to the point to where it looks smooth enough to survive, you know, a close-up like that.
Hey, Stoney. Thursday, man. We go till 5. Oh, I got some stuff on the purple.
But from your general, you know, play 3-foot test, it looks fantastic. You don't even have to worry. It's only under that scrutiny you have to determine how you want it to look. You know, like this is that Wish.com non-metallic metal, but at the 3-foot test on the gaming table, you're like, holy hell, that's awesome. Because it jumps that contrast out at you and gives you the impression of the material you're trying to focus on. It doesn't survive the same way. You know, like if I zoom in on this guy, for the guys that we're not spending as much time on as Dante, and we do the super zoom, then bam, I mean, you'll see that I'm just squibbing paint on, you know. You can see all of my brush strokes. They're still all very deliberate, and they follow the directionality of the light on the particular piece and area where I'm doing it, but I'm not even thinking about smooth. I don't give a damn, right? Contrast is everything at this point. It has nothing to do with smoothness, right? It has everything to do with getting those colors and those values placed so that as you go around the model and look at it, you get the feel of exactly the material you're trying to put across. You
can fool the eye a lot too with well-placed highlights.
Yeah.
That make things kind of appear to blend more, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that the blend is something that I think is we get hung up on, and I don't mean to say that you don't want to blend your colors, because, you know, we've done like the no blend stuff, and you can do things like Thanos where you don't do a single blend at all, right? Like we don't have any blends on Thanos. It's all just stripes of paint, and the banding gives it its own cartoony style. That's the whole idea with this, right? Is that you're painting in that comic book cell shaded style. There's not a single blend on here. That was a whole challenge, right? Paint without ever doing a blend. You do all your blending on the palette by mixing your colors together to give you your colors staged in hue and value from darkest to lightest, or lightest to darkest, or however you like to paint. And so you can do that and never blend and still get a really, really good looking model that when people look at it are like, holy hell, that looks amazing, right? But there's no blending done at all. So, you know, it really comes down to how do you like your style and what appeals to you as you're painting that gets you jazzed to put paint on the model. Because if it's that blend that when you look at it, you literally can't see how the color turns from one to another, right? And that's like, oh my God, that's like the Mashik, right, Flame-On miniatures, right? When I look at Flame-On stuff and I'm like, Mashik, just stop. you know, because he spins all those glazes, getting all of that. But he paints like this first, right? All of his colors are really banded and very, very blocky colors first, and then he goes through and spends time doing those colors in between the lines, and gets that really amazing, lifelike, you know, blend going on, and that gets him jazzed. You know, I get jazzed for all of it. I don't care. I can do messy blends. Just depends on what the model is for. You know, no blends, messy blends. You know, but no blends looks tighter and better put together than the messy blends where we've actually done some blending, right? This looks better with no blending, but it was done very precisely with that method in mind, that these colors go right here at this shape and outline this color at this shape and mix this color on the palette to just be a hair brighter or a hair darker, or in some cases big jumps. You know, I mean, if you look across here, this gold is done with that dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors: black brown, dark golden brown, yellow ochre, pale yellow, and bright ivory, right? And that's all that is. And you can see now everywhere where you see those same colors, right? The black brown, the dark golden brown, the yellow ochre, right? The pale yellow. So you can go through and do whatever you like and never ever have to blend, but then it's more of a matter of knowing where to put the colors, you know, more so than here. So. And what's going on, Stoney? Yeah, the contrast is king, right? That's what really gives us the deal. We've always talked for years and years and years about how it's the value and the volumes that you build out of those values and contrast that define the model, and keeping consistency with that. So all my light goes to the left of the screen here on this guy. So as long as I keep pushing my highlights towards the left, it'll all stay cohesive. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. That takes a lot out of the way of having your paint job be perfect, you know? Like the airbrush on the reds here is cool, but it happens. I mean, you can do your whole army like that in an hour, right? Yep. And then it's the detailing going in and finding ways to speed up all the other stuff where you spend 80% of your time and get it done. And like I said, don't ever feel afraid to say, "Hey, but that's not how I like it." You know, I want it to be perfect, and whatever your version of perfect is, shoot for that. You know, that's why it's so hard, and why we spend so much time talking on the show and in Discord a lot about the fact that don't ever let what one artist does direct you towards feeling right or wrong about how you do it, right? Because we all have different goals with a model. My goal with this guy is to put him on the table fast, right? And your goal with that guy,
paint him fast,
right? Or paint him quick, get him on the table.
I mean, I'm just painting him nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but you get a really good quality that can be added to make it even better, right? But it's going to get you where you want to fast. And you know, you wouldn't hold this up against like Demon Rich and say, "Damn it, you know, my Marine doesn't look as good," you know, because Demon Rich spent 18 months on his, you know, so it's like, I don't know. Deathwalker, take it easy, tell Duffy.
I'm going to do this until the end of stream.
Do what?
Wave goodbye.
Why?
Because I can.
That's 8 minutes.
Maybe not then.
You're still got 8 minutes. The goal is fun, ultimately. Yeah, but and again, that's very subjective too, right, Flick? Because we can say that to people and they go, "Yeah, but fun is winning Slayer swords." You know, fun is winning at Monty. You know, and you can't knock them. It's like, great, go for it. Good luck. My fun is getting people hyped about painting, and so my fear is that I never know what people are interested in any given day, and if we're going overboard with details or not detailed enough, and what do people want to see Pro Acryl do, and, you know. So here, as a business, we think a lot about, you know, the recognition of the paints in the scenarios that people feel comfortable putting them in, and we really want people to know that, I mean, you can paint however you want to with our paints. What do you want to do? You want to do slap chop? We got you. You want to win Slayer swords? We got you. Is bright yellow green and yellow green different paints? Yep. Hence the name difference, Flick.
Yep. They are two different colors.
Bright yellow green.
A dark yellow green.
Bright yellow green. Yellow green. Dark yellow green. No, the name's never changed, Flick. I think the only name change it was it used to be, because of a mistake in editing, it used to be light neutral gray on like episode 1 of Pro Acryl 17 mil paint bottles, and it went to bright neutral gray very quickly. But that's the only one that changed.
Oh, I have too many favorite colors.
I have 90.
Yeah, I know, right? That's kind of where I'm
soon
at.
to be 102.
Yeah, it's
Actually, I have more. I have 102 because I have all the new colors sitting on my bench right now, and you don't.
I don't. I do not.
We should pour you some samples so you have all of the colors.
Probably not a bad idea.
I don't know why we're saying it. They're
Probably
literally
not a
out
bad
there, and we could just pour them in the
Yeah.
in the poorly named lab, just because it has the lab desk and also all of my comic books.
How soon for what, Stoney? The paints?
The new signature series will be launching right after Gen Con is our target, unless anything monstrously bad goes on between now and then. I know that the gang, we just okayed today going through and filling the first 4 colors en masse this next week. So we'll be ahead of the game, and then it's only the final 8 that we have to fill once labels get here. Labels should be here week after next, by the end of the week after next. So next week's July 4th, right?
Yes.
And so then Tuesday's the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. By July 14th-ish, we should be hopefully bottling and labeling all of them. And then that means that by the following week, getting towards the end of July, we will have them for stores to pre-order, and we'll be shipping them out to retailers. So if you have a retailer near you in the United States, North America area, you may be able to buy them before we put them live on the Monument store. Because we're going to ship them out to retailers first, then we'll put them live on the store. The target date, I think, is the 8th of August, which I believe is a Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the day after we get back from Gen Con. We get back from Gen Con that Monday night.
Yes.
And then they go live on Tuesday.
Yep.
We will have them at Gen Con, assuming, again, that nothing horrible happens. So if you're going to Gen Con this year, you can find them at the booth. That'll be the technical first time that we'll be selling them direct to the world. We'll do some giveaways before that. I don't know when, but probably right up before that area. But just as a teaser again, the colors I'll go back to.
Yeah.
Boom. Body. We have brown gray. It says granite. Don't read that. It has granite as the accessory name or the secondary name. Bone. It's not called light bone anymore. It's called bone. Advanced flesh tone. Petroleum brown. It says oil, but it's petroleum brown. It's an amazing gloss coloring here. Heavy titanium white. The heavy colors are thicker. They are for the loaded brush style technique and just people who like to, mess around with a paint that doesn't draw as much in your brush. They're the kind of paint that if you want to airbrush with, you would have to thin the crap out of. They're right in between like a heavy body tube acrylic and our current fluid paint, so they're a little bit thicker. Crimson, which is again another gloss. So the two gloss paints.
On the tip of the bottle.
What's that?
You can see it on the tip
you
of
can
the
see
bottle.
on the bottle how shiny those two are. Those are the two gloss colors, which are crimson and petroleum brown. Granite is matte, like the current series of paints that we do. Bone and all of these are satin, which is new for us. Dark burgundy, dark emerald. This says verdigris, but it's green oxide is the way it's going to go out. And then deep sea bin. That's the one color in our line that will have a funky name. And then dark bronze is metallic. So we've got, this is wrong, there's one missing. Oh, and heavy warm white that I just used. So we have 8 satin colors, 1 new metallic, 1 matte, and 2 gloss. Along with this release come the addition of our gloss and matte varnishes. They're airbrush ready varnishes. We've shown them to you. We took this eBay model and we sprayed it with gloss varnish to give you an idea of the shiny shine. And then we hit the gloss varnish and knocked it down with the matte varnish to take away the shiny shine. So, shine, no shine. As a matter of fact, on the label it says, ooh, shiny.
Ooh, it does.
And the other one says, no, not shiny. So gloss and matte varnishes will be available at the same time because we're introducing satin and gloss paints. And if you don't like satin and gloss, you can have the matte varnish to tone them down with. Give you an idea on the petroleum brown, it's this kind of color. It's a really cool, like, kind of goldeny brown.
It's great, like leather filter.
Yeah,
color.
leather, oil, like oil stains, things like that. And then the crimson is a fantastic blood.
I would use that a lot for blood.
Yeah, for like blood splatter, it's gonna be great.
You can even mix that with a little bit of transparent or glaze and wash medium.
Yep.
And I bet it would be absolutely perfect for blood effects.
Yep, it is. It's amazing. That's all the colors. Warm white, heavy titanium white, bone, dark emerald, green oxide, the deep sea bent, which is actually changed. It's more blue than this now. The granite or brown gray, the dark burgundy, crimson, advanced flesh, and dark bronze. An amazing set of paints. A much more, I wouldn't say desaturated palette. There's no real huge, like, vibrant poppy colors in it, other than the whites, obviously, but all just amazing colors. We've been using the absolute crap out of all of these colors. Some of them have made it to my list of must-have on every model, like warm white. is just a go-to for pop of brightness.
Dark bronze is going to be a big one for me, I think.
Chlor heavy white. Heavy white is a heavy body. These are heavy. The heavy warm white, because warm white is also heavy. So the two whites are heavy bodied colors. They are thicker. They are like more like a paste than a fluid acrylic. They still come in the same bottle. We're tossing around putting them in the flip lids because they are a little bit thicker, but they do work great in the current bottle. So we'll do a little bit more testing before we determine that. But they may come with the flip lids just to make them easier to get out. But yeah, they're more like, if you bought a fine art paint in a tube, they're that. All of our paints are that quality anyway. They rival the best acrylic paints that you can find in the art world. But they are fluid acrylics, right? So all of our paints are meant to be painted on three-dimensional surfaces at thin layers. And these are the first two that we're doing that are heavier. Our plan is to release in the near future a heavy set to complement this that would have heavy cyan, heavy magenta, heavy yellow, heavy black, so that you could do CMYK painting with a heavy-bodied set of single pigment colors too. But then we won't have any more heavy colors after that. There's no reason for it. They don't have any more pigment than our normal colors. They're just thicker, which can be really good. The artists that the second signature series come out with are big purveyors of the loaded brush technique, and when you're doing loaded brush, you want to make sure that the paint doesn't soak up into the bristles, and the only way you can do that is by using a heavy-bodied acrylic. Yeah, when you want to put a dot, Chlor, exactly. Yep, that's exactly what this type of paint is for. Deep sea Ben, Wad, yes. The only wizard's butt color in our line. It does say on the side, on the little archway, if you look at some of our colors on the arch of the color, it'll have like a funny word. Where is blue? Right? Pants. So blue says pants on it, right? Pants blue as a nod to 40-year-old version. Agent orange is another one. So if you look at orange, even the upside down orange says agent on it, right? So agent orange. Soylent green, right? Some of them have got those. So on that, it says dark green blue, which is what it is. It's a dark green blue. It's more of a blue than a green, but McRib red on the warm brown, not happening.
McRib. Such a weird.
I can't believe it's not oil win. Gosh, man, we could literally release it like in weeks. We just are lazy and haven't finished our testing. So we got so much else going on, but I would assume not too long. If we can go through and put some nose to the grindstone here over the next couple of weeks, we could probably have it ready not too long after these Signature Series paints release. We wouldn't want to have it jumbled up inside of a normal color release. It's a totally different tool, so we'll want to release it on its own, kind of like we do with the basing textures when we release them. So maybe September would be a good time frame. September, October. What if you said please? we would laugh at you and taunt you a second time.
What you get? This is what you.
You need airbrush hoses. Amazon, $10 cheap. Who cares?
Yeah, they're super cheap.
Seriously, that's all we use here at the deal. Now, I will tell you that the only hose we've had a problem with is the black Amazon hoses. They tend to pop off of the crimp fitting sometimes, even at low pressure that we run, 22 PSI in the hose, and we've had a couple of them. This one's, electric taped on.
I didn't even realize that was
it's just electric taped on. So, but if you can find these crazy ones,
the blue and yellow ones.
Does this show up? Do you see this? The blue with the yellow dot on there on Amazon? I swear they're cheap, but they've worked like a champ.
Yeah.
They come in like 10, 20 foot, whatever. I think this one that we have is probably 15 foot or something, 10 foot. Yeah, if he bought our airbrush, it comes with the quick disconnects already, Chlor. It comes with both ends of the quick disconnect fittings. We include the GMAC adjustment valve from Grex along with the quick release on the brush itself so that you can do that really easy. Easy peasy. Whew. We think of everything. Awesome, Delta. Enjoy. That's it. That's all we got.
That's all
we have teased you with models for our upcoming game. I say upcoming. It might be middle of next year. but we teased you with some models. That is technically upcoming, but we teased you with some models for our upcoming game and talked a little bit about that. We got some great Soul Drinkers work done over there.
Nope.
I got most of my gold done. I went back and did I forgot the faceplate. And we showed you some of the new colors, the signature colors, the last sneak before we actually get the colors, damn it.
It's true.
So, very hyped for the paints. Says Chlor, awesome. Paint Liquor, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you, Paint Liquor.
Jen with all the links, the Discord, the FLGS link, the link to the store up above. Make sure to jump on all of those. The store can get you all of the great stuff that we sell, the stuff that you see us using, the paints, the brushes, and all the awesome hobby supplies. The Discord will get you in league with a community of over 2,000 wonderful artists just like yourself that are sharing all of their work, getting inspired, having great hobby talks, helping each other out. It's a fantastic community, literally one of the best places on the internet for just going, hanging out, learning about the hobby, and spreading the love. So join us on the Discord. No matter what you do that now. Hit the follow button if you're new around here and you have not. We stream 5 days a week, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like tomorrow coming up, we stream from noon to 2. So it's our hobby lunch. Tuesdays and Thursdays, like today, we do the 2 to 5. So 5 chances to catch up with us, tell bad jokes, get really good bad life advice.
Like today.
You
can get all the bad life advice you need.
All the bad life advice you need.
Like,
buy your wife $200 of wine and then you can hobby alone.
Yeah. Or finding your significant other in jail.
Oh my God. That was a good one. Flick, thanks so much. Great for hanging out with everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Stick around. We're going to find somebody to raid, so show love in the chat we wind up in. And remember, we'll join you back here tomorrow at noon. Adios. Have a wonderful evening.